never imagined it, not even in my wildest dreams. Me, one of the most notorious criminals on the planet, reborn into a family legendary in law enforcement. My grandfather and father, both high-ranking officials. My grandmother, a renowned expert in criminal investigation. And my mother, a forensic scientist known across the world. Being reborn into a family like this, the pressure is real. But for someone who knows the criminal world inside and out, when I come face to face with a serial murder case cold for 10 years, a baffling elevator killing, and even a cannibalism case that shocked the entire world, I prove to everyone that I am far more than just the privileged son of a law enforcement dynasty. I am the king of both crime and criminal investigation. I press my fingers to my temple, set down my chopsticks, and think about taking a walk in the yard. But the moment I reach the door, Mom rushes in. She glances at the breakfast on the table and smiles with satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. Leo, looks like you've finally broken those bad habits of yours. Come here, Mom's got a reward for you. A reward? I lean in eagerly. What I don't expect. She grabs my face and twists it back and forth. I yelp. Mom, what kind of reward is that? She laughs. I don't have time to get you a real gift right now. Consider it an IOU. A major case just broke in King Do. I have to head back soon. She laughs and turns toward the stairs, but in her rush, the files in her hands slip and scatter across the floor. I walk over to pick them up and can't help giving her a hard time. No wonder Dad says it's the world's greatest miracle that you ever became a forensic scientist. Look at you, just as careless as Dad. Mom's face flushes red with irritation. You dare make fun of me too? Fine. I don't have time for this. She stops arguing and turns to leave, but I grab her hand. When I picked up those files, I caught a glimpse of a crime scene photo. I frown. Mom, this case, it's not simple. Mom, Vivian Sue, looks at me with surprise. What do you know about it? Go do your own thing. School starts in a few days. Shouldn't you be studying? If she hadn't said that, I might have actually forgotten. Right now, I'm just a 17-year-old high school student. Second semester starts soon, senior year. But my attention stays fixed on that photo. This killer. Something is seriously wrong with them. Death is death. The victim's head is down, yes. But after death, the killer kept going, carving slash after slash into the body. That's not just murder. That's hatred. Mom listens to the end and shakes her head with a bitter smile. You don't understand. But in your mind, Mom, this killer is someone who's done this before, isn't it? And going upstairs, you're going to get the files on the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago, right? The words barely leave my mouth before Mom's eyes go wide. How did you know that? Mom, you keep files on all kinds of cases in your study, but the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago, that one has always been a thorn in both yours and Dad's side. The condition of this female victim, plus the fact that you're in such a rush to get upstairs, it's not hard to figure out. She blinks. Well, I didn't know you had such a sharp eye. Alright then, keep going. Why do you think this killer had a personal grudge against the victim? Every piece of evidence from the 10-year-old case pointed to a killer acting on impulse. By your logic, based on the stab wounds alone, you can't rule out the original killer. I never said this wasn't the same person. Maybe he really did have a grudge against this woman. I smile and say nothing more. Mom watches me walk toward the door. Then suddenly she steps forward and grabs my wrist, smiling. Leo, Mom needs a favor. I turn around. What is it? Come with me to the hospital. I need to examine a body. Before I know it, Mom has pulled me all the way to the hospital, but the moment we arrive at the entrance, a swarm of cameras and microphones surrounds us. Professor Sue is here! Professor Sue, do you believe the killer behind this case is truly the same person responsible for the serial torture murder case 10 years ago? Professor Sue, a decade later and an identical case surfaces. You were the lead forensic scientist back then. It's also the only case in your entire career where you found no leads on the killer. What do you have to say? The moment we're surrounded, the reporters bombard her with question after question. Mom's brow tightens. Autopsies are her strength. Dealing with reporters is not. And what they're saying isn't wrong. There is one stain on Mom's otherwise flawless career. It happened at the height of her reputation, when she had absolutely no leads on that serial murder case. Right now, I can see her anger beginning to rise. But before she can react, a hand reaches out from behind her. I step in front of Mom and push aside everyone blocking the way. There's a murder to solve. The story can wait. The case just broke. What exactly are you reporting on? Do you understand that every second you waste here could be the second a killer walks free? Move. All of you. My face is ice cold. I pull Mom forward without slowing down. The reporters stand frozen for a moment, then come back to their senses. Someone asks, is that boy one of the professor's students? Who does he think he is? That's Leo Yi, the eldest son of the Yi family. He's protecting his mother. So what if he's a little intense? Exactly, and what he said wasn't wrong. There's a murder to solve. The story can wait. The case just happened. Aren't you just wasting everyone's time with all these questions? By now, Mom and I have reached the door to the hospital morgue. She pushes it open. Inside, a handful of officers and forensic staff are still documenting the body. When they see us walk in, everyone straightens up. They come over. Professor Sue, you're here. And young Master Leo too? Everyone is visibly surprised to see me. I give a brief nod and walk straight to the body. My eyes move slowly over the victim. Some of the officers are about to say something, but they catch Mom shaking her head at them. I pull my gaze away and speak. Where is the victim's family? The victim is from out of town. We've already contacted her next of kin. They're on their way. Did she live alone? Mom speaks up. The victim's name is Fei Huang, 27 years old. She worked as a manager at a design firm. She had 2 close friends here in Kingdu. She lived with her fiancé. By all accounts, they had a very loving relationship. I respond with a quiet, I see, then pull on a pair of gloves. The room immediately shifts. Everyone's expression turns to disbelief. Even Mom looks completely taken aback. She knows better than anyone that I have never examined a body before. Most people feel fear when they come face to face with a corpse, but from the way I'm moving, it looks like I'm about to conduct the autopsy myself. One of Mom's junior forensic staff steps forward quickly with a polite smile. Young Master Leo, the body has already been examined. I ignore him. With my gloved hand, I reach into one of the stab wounds without hesitation. Under the stunned gaze of everyone in the room, I use 2 fingers to carefully expose the flesh around the wound. Mom says with concern, Leo, don't push yourself. You've never done this before. Your body might react. I release the wound and speak. The victim died somewhere between 3:30 and 4 in the morning. The fatal wound is the one to the chest. That's what killed her. The weapon was a blade approximately 13 centimeters long and 2 centimeters wide. A dagger, but it wasn't particularly sharp, most likely worn down from frequent use. That's why the flesh shows slight tearing at the wound edges. After the fatal blow, the killer slashed wildly across the body, all the way down to the legs, the cuts becoming shallower as they go. When I finish, I turn around to find every single person staring at me in stunned silence. I walk over to Mom. What's wrong? She reaches out and vigorously rubs my face with both hands, then cries out, Wait, are you really my Leo? I roll my eyes. Who else would I be? That's impossible. My Leo was supposed to be, a little slow. How can you examine a victim's wounds in just a few seconds and get everything right? Mom is still reeling, but I don't explain. Instead, I turn to the senior officer. Officer Zhang, please bring everyone connected to the victim here to see the body. One last time. Officer Zhang takes a slow, deep breath. His expression turns serious. Understood. I'll get them now. After Officer Zhang leaves, I step out as well. The moment I'm gone, the morgue erupts in whispers. That's the Yi family for you. Grew up surrounded by this. It shows. What he just did with that body, completely incredible. Seriously impressive. Other than Professor Su and Senior Fin Chen, I've never seen anyone who could glance at a body for just a few seconds and already know the murder weapon, the fatal wound, and the time of death. Professor Su, your son is a genuine genius. Smiling in the presence of the dead isn't something most people would do, but for someone as accustomed to death as Mom, she feels nothing but pride in this moment. Every mother wants her child to shine. She smiles and responds warmly to the room. Before long, Officer Zhang brings in everyone connected to the victim. Faye's 2 friends and her fiancé enter the morgue together. When they see Faye's body, all 3 of them share the same expression, a split second of disbelief. Then they break down completely. Faye's boyfriend collapses to the floor, utterly shattered. I stand outside the morgue, watching all 3 of them closely. After a moment, I push the door open and walk in. Mom knows exactly what I'm doing. She leans in and asks quietly, Are you sure this killer has nothing to do with the one from 10 years ago? Of course not. The prime suspect is still the killer from the serial torture murder case, but anyone connected to the victim is also a suspect. With that, I walk over to the 3 of them and look Faye's boyfriend directly in the eyes. How long have you 2 been together? He takes several seconds to respond. He finally looks up, and when he sees I'm just a teenager, he drops his gaze again. I shrug and turn to the 2 friends. And you 2, how long did you know her? We've known Faye for 4 or 5 years. We used to live together. We only moved out when Faye and Leon got serious about getting married. One of them speaks and the other follows. I just can't believe something like this happened to Faye. Who would do this? Why would anyone be so cruel? Finally, Faye's boyfriend Leon Lee speaks, but his voice won't stop trembling. It's my fault. I should have stayed with her last night. Why did I leave? If I had just stayed, none of this would have happened. I crouch down in front of him. Has she been busy lately? She wasn't leaving work until after 3 in the morning. She's been pouring everything into a design project. She finally got a breakthrough a few days ago and has been working around the clock ever since. I kept telling her not to rush, but she was so driven. Nothing I said made a difference. Leon's emotions surge again. It's my fault. Why didn't I just stay a little longer? I stand up. Officer Zhang, let them go home and rest. I'm not leaving. I'm staying with her. We were going to get married, just 2 or 3 months away. Why did this happen? Leon's voice breaks into a raw, anguished cry. Every officer in the room looks on with quiet grief. Even Mom, who has witnessed more death than most, lets out a long, quiet sigh. What a tragedy. I watch it all in silence. In my past life, I orchestrated countless crimes, enough to put the world's most elite agencies on my trail. As someone who was once the crime lord, no one understands the criminal mind better than I do. What the eyes see may be the truth, or it may be exactly what someone wants you to see. I give the officers a subtle signal. They gently guide Leon and Faye's friends out of the room. Mom steps toward me. Leo, did you pick up on something? I don't answer. I reach into Mom's file bag and pull out the crime scene photos. Sharp, clear, taken from every angle. I lay them all out in order. I study them for 2 minutes. Then I speak. I can say with certainty, this case and the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago are not the same. The moment those words land, Mom and every officer in the room go rigid with shock. But the method, the brutality, this killing is identical to the one 10 years ago. Exactly. And there were words carved into the victim's back. I'm back. The original killer left marks just like this. Brutal, deliberate. The only difference is this time it's words. Before, it was numbers. In the serial torture murder case 10 years ago, every single victim was female, and every one of them had a mark left on their body. Back then, it was numbers, 9-1, 9-2, carved into each victim's back. After 9-9, the killing stopped. I listened to the officers push back, and a cold smile crosses my face. Are you sure the level of brutality is truly the same? Faye's body has at least 5 vital points where the blade was buried to the hilt. The victims 10 years ago, not one wound like that. Every slash was casual, almost careless, and each one penetrated to roughly the same shallow depth, barely breaking the skin. That tells us the original killer had exceptional control with a blade, and his profession almost certainly involved one. One of the officers speaks up. Even if the depth of the wounds differs, that's not enough to rule him out. The killer from 10 years ago was brilliant. Or maybe he was just playing games with all of you. This killer is nothing but a poor imitation. As I speak, I pull an old worn photograph from Mom's file bag. It shows the back of one of the original victims. I press my finger to the bound wrists in the photo. I'm done going back and forth on this. I turn and head for the door. Leo, where are you going? I grin. I have a pretty good idea where to find the killer. We head straight to Faye's workplace. The office has no idea their manager is dead. I push open the door to the design firm. It's right at the start of the workday. Everyone at their desks looks half asleep. They all stare at me, Mom, and the 2 officers with wide-eyed confusion. One person stands up and walks over with a polite smile. Officers, how can we help you? We're here about your manager, Faye Huang, I say. The person blinks. Oh, you're looking for Manager Faye? Let me get her. She's always the first one in every day. She's definitely in her office. I stop them. Don't bother, she's dead. That single sentence hits the room like a shockwave. Eyes go wide everywhere. What? Manager Faye is dead? That can't be right. She was perfectly fine yesterday. How is that possible? She was here working late last night. Her fiancé was with her the whole time. The entire office erupts. The quiet morning air turns into chaos. I scan every face in the room. One of the officers behind me, worried about wasting time, calls out, "Everyone, please calm down. We're here to investigate. Has anyone noticed anything unusual about Faye recently? And has she had any conflicts with anyone here?" Before the officers finish, I cut in. Never mind that. Anyone who hasn't been at work recently, step forward. Both the officers and Mom look at me with surprise. I'm asking about the people who weren't here. Mom says under her breath, "Leo, it can't be that straightforward. The killer left absolutely no trace at the scene. That means they have real counter-forensic skills. Why would they leave themselves open to suspicion?" I smile without missing a beat. Just throwing it out there. 3 people step forward quickly. 1 man, 2 women, all young. All 3 wear varying shades of shock and grief on their faces. One of the women already has red-rimmed eyes. I walk over to her. Before I can say a word, she bursts into tears. "It can't be. How could Faye be dead? She was such a good person. How could this happen?" The tears keep falling. I grab a tissue from a nearby desk and hand it to her. "You were close to Faye, weren't you?" "I'm her assistant. I've been sick the past couple of days. She was the one who insisted I go home and rest. I came back today because I'm finally starting to feel better. I never imagined something like this could happen. I can tell she's genuinely unwell." She keeps coughing, and her voice is thick with congestion. I give a small nod and move on without pressing further. I step over to the young man next. He takes a breath. "I've been out of town on a work trip. Just got back today. And you?" I turn to the last woman. There's something about her. Mom's eyes have barely left her. Because when the news of Faye's death was announced, this woman's face showed the same shock as everyone else. But underneath it, just for an instant, there was something else. Relief. It vanished almost immediately, but not fast enough to escape Mom's eyes. Instinct has already told her this woman has some kind of history with Faye. I study her now too. Pretty, composed. What about you? Why were you away? Something came up back home, so I took some time off. How many days? A week, she says. I let a look of realization cross my face. 7 whole days. Was it something serious back home? Not really. I was just tired. Needed a break. I hum quietly and turn away. 7 days. That's plenty of time for someone to study another person's methods. More than enough, really. Enough to pull off a decent imitation. At those words, many eyes in the room snap toward her. A deputy manager blurts out, "What exactly are you implying?" When Faye's body was found, she was bound with rope. Head down, body raised, words left on her back. Anyone who's lived in Kingdu long enough should know exactly what that means. Before I finish, a middle-aged employee stares wide-eyed and gasps. The serial torture murder case. Exactly, the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago. My voice drops to something cold and deliberate. The way Manager Faye was found, it matches every one of the 9 victims from 10 years ago. The woman who showed that flicker of relief, her body jolts. Whatever was in her eyes before is completely gone now. She looks up sharply, meeting my gaze, and her voice starts to stammer. Why are you looking at me like that? I didn't kill anyone." I give a cold laugh. "But you had a grudge against Faye, didn't you? She slapped me once, but I would never kill her over that." She lifts her chin. "I said you had a grudge. I never said you killed her. No need to get so worked up." After that, nearly every eye in the room is fixed on her. Her panic is growing. Her eyes dart left and right. Mom steps beside me and murmurs, "You suspect her?" "I'm just observing." When we announced Faye was dead, there was satisfaction in her eyes. For a moment I almost thought she was the one, but now I understand everything. I turn to the sick girl. "I almost forgot. What's your name?" She blinks, then answers in a slightly hoarse voice. My name is Vera Wang. Alright Vera, I'd like you to come with us to the hospital morgue. She looks uneasy. Why me? I had no grudge against Faye. My smile shifts into something stranger. I never said you did. Didn't you say you were close to her? Then you should say your goodbyes. She finally nods. Fine, I'll go. I smile, and then I grab her hand. No matter how pitiful you look to everyone else, make no mistake, you are the killer. The office goes absolutely silent. Every single pair of eyes locks onto me and the girl whose hand I'm holding. Then someone snaps back to reality. Officer, you've got it wrong. There's no way Vera killed Manager Faye. You said this matches the serial torture murder case exactly. So shouldn't the killer be the same person from back then? And besides, Vera has no motive. Exactly. Vera is scared of bugs, and Manager Faye helped her. When Vera got into gambling debt, Faye was the one who paid it off. The colleagues keep defending her, but I immediately turn to the one who mentioned gambling. She gambles? Yes, she got pulled into online gambling, racked up serious debt. The last time her creditors showed up here at the office, it was Manager Faye who stepped in. I feel a cold laugh rise in my chest. My eyes fix on Vera like a hawk. I really hope this isn't a story about biting the hand that fed you. Take her to the hospital. I give the order. Send another team to search her place. Vera's face drains of color. I'm just going to pay my respects. What gives you the right to call me the killer? You couldn't catch anyone 10 years ago. Now the killer strikes again. So why are you coming after me instead? Interesting. You know a lot about the case from 10 years ago. I narrow my eyes. Mom tenses beside me. Vera snaps back. Is that a problem? If you'd caught the killer back then, Faye would still be alive. I step forward. Still not admitting it? The calluses on your hands are fresh. You've been doing heavy physical work recently. You're an assistant. Does this company require you to haul things around? She opens her mouth to argue, but I don't give her the chance. The calluses, that's one. Two, when we said Faye died exactly like the victims 10 years ago, why did you suddenly relax? And when we turned our attention to your colleague, your eyes were full of satisfaction. I know the criminal mind too well. My past life taught me this. The killer is almost always the last person you'd expect, and only a guilty person works that hard to look innocent. Vera cried her eyes out when she walked in. Even Mom was moved, but I don't trust tears. Emotion is the most reliable way to cloud judgment. Vera's lips tremble. I don't know what you think you saw. You're wrong. I tug the corner of my mouth and turn to a colleague. Call Leon Lee. Ask him whether Vera has been trying to borrow money from Faye lately. The call connects. Leon's voice is exhausted. Yes, she asked about 2 weeks ago. She came back a few more times after that, but Faye kept saying no. Faye even told her, if she couldn't quit gambling, she'd have to let her go. I thank him calmly. Leon's voice sharpens. You suspect Vera? I thought the killer was the same one from 10 years ago? We never confirmed that. We only said the cases were similar. I fix my gaze on Vera, and I speak slowly, one word at a time. Am I correct in understanding that you were repeatedly turned down for money, and that you knew Faye was planning to fire you, and that you let that resentment push you to kill? Vera's eyes go wide. Her lips shake. Several seconds pass before she forces out the words. I did hate Faye, but I got over it. She was right. And where's your proof? You can't convict me on guesswork alone. She even lets out a soft laugh. Don't worry, the evidence is coming. A few hours isn't nearly enough time to destroy everything. Faye died after 3:30 in the morning. It's only 8 o'clock now. She needed time to cover her tracks. And looking at her right now, there's no way she could have killed anyone. No way she could have replicated the methods from 10 years ago. I stared directly at her. Forget the hospital. We're going to your place. The team there should have found something by now. Vera's jaw tightens. That one involuntary reaction tells me everything I need. I give the order to move. Vera's apartment is only a 10-minute drive from the office. She's eerily silent the entire way. When we pull up to her building, 2 police vehicles are already waiting. A middle-aged officer spots us and hurries over. Professor Sue, young Master Leo, sorry to have you running around like this. Mom shakes her head. Assisting with cases is my job. I assume the Bureau has been briefed? The City Bureau has issued orders. Given how closely this case mirrors the one from 10 years ago, they're demanding it be solved within a week. And, he pauses. And what? Mayor Zheng held a meeting this morning and made it very clear. If another murder like this occurs, every department in the City Bureau will be held accountable. Mom gives a cold smile. We won't need a week. This case gets solved today. Everyone stares. Today? More precisely, within the hour. I turn to Vera. Isn't that right, Miss Wang? Silence. An officer comes down from upstairs. Report. No suspicious items found in the suspect's apartment. No weapon. Not even a kitchen knife. Vera finally lets a small smile slip. Officers, do you believe me now? No rush, I say, keeping my voice easy. Let's head upstairs. Oh, do you have any water? All this talking has made me thirsty. Mom hides a small smile. The Yi family never backs down in front of a suspect. Yes, Vera says quietly. We take her upstairs. Officers are already inside searching, but the place is still tidy. I spot a water dispenser. I pour Mom a cup first, then carry my own as I walk slowly through the apartment. When I reach the bathroom, I stop. I stare at the floor. Mom comes up beside me. Leo, what are you looking at? I point downward. Mom, doesn't there seem to be a lot of water on the floor? Miss Wang, do you usually shower in the early morning? Vera's eyes shift. Yes, why? Is water in a bathroom really that suspicious? Water in a bathroom? Not at all. What's suspicious is that you're this sick, and you still took a shower this morning. Bold. I walk straight to the only bedroom door and push it open. The room is small, 1 bedroom, 1 living area. She doesn't live extravagantly. Maybe all her money went to gambling. But the moment I open that door, my eyes lock onto something, and I go completely still. Standing in Vera's room is a life-sized ragdoll, old and worn. It looks like it has been handled over and over again. I spin around immediately. Get me a rope. Vera sways on her feet. Mom seems to understand, but says nothing. The officers are confused, but one of them hands me a rope anyway. I take it, pick up the rag doll, and begin wrapping the rope along the faint but unmistakable marks already pressed into its body. Vera's face is white as paper. When I pull the rag doll's arms behind its back, someone gasps. How is this possible? I answer low and steady. Why wouldn't it be? My hands don't stop. The rag doll slowly takes on the same bound position as Faye's body. Before I even finish, Vera lets out a hysterical scream. Stop! Stop binding it! Stop! She collapses to the floor, sobbing with her head down. I crouch in front of her and look at her calmly. Anything left to say? She lifts her face. Her color is gone. Why could you tell, just from one look, that the rag doll had marks on it? And how did you know how to bind it like that? A knowing smile spreads across Mom's face. The case is cracked. I stay crouched and speak without any rush. Simple. Faye helped more than just you at that company. When I announced her death, everyone else reacted with shock first. You went straight to tears. She asks weakly. Isn't that normal? No, because you showed zero surprise. Then I saw the calluses on your hands and I was even more certain. The moment someone mentioned your gambling, I had no more doubt. You were the killer. I stay crouched and say quietly, what a shame. This really is a story about biting the hand that fed you. Even in my past life as a criminal, I never stooped to this. A twisted sneer breaks across Vera's face. Ungrateful? She helped me once, and I paid her back. So why couldn't she help me one last time? Was she really going to just watch while debt collectors beat me to death? If I had to die anyway, then we'd die together. Her expression turns ugly. Do you know what I gave her? When I begged for her help, I handed over all my design ideas. Every single one. And what did she do? She took them and then tried to fire me. Doesn't someone like that deserve to die? I'm caught off guard. Whether by coincidence or fate, her phone rings at exactly that moment. Answer it, I say. You're not quite at the point where you can't take a call. She picks up. A pleasant woman's voice comes through. Hello, is this Miss Vera Wang from Starlight Design? We're calling from the Radiance Cup Design Competition Review Committee. Your submission has met all the requirements. Please arrive at the competition venue within 3 days to compete for a spot in the finals. Vera freezes. Mom and I are equally stunned. Hello? Miss Wang, can you hear us? Hello? Vera's entire body is shaking. She can't speak. Tears pour out of her without warning. She screams in a raw, broken voice. Why didn't you tell me? Why? I rise to my feet, my tone flat. As far as I'm concerned, you deserve what's coming, but if you ever get out of prison, then find a way to make it right. Mom signals the officers to put on the handcuffs. As Vera is helped to her feet, she says under her breath, I really was ungrateful, wasn't I? Leo, did you know everything from the start? I ask. The rag doll, you just didn't have time to get rid of it, right? And your illness, you got it by dousing yourself with cold water and sitting under the air conditioning all night after the murder. Am I right? Her mouth opens slightly. She nods in silence. It started the first time she said no. After the debt collectors beat me, I began planning. Her voice goes calm. I tracked down every piece of information on the case from 10 years ago. It took me more than half a month to learn it well enough. 2 days ago, I went to her again. She tore into me. That's when I decided to move. After I killed her last night, I was afraid of being suspected. So I came back, soaked myself with cold water, and stayed under the air conditioning all night, just like you said. As for the rag doll, you were right. I used it to practice the binding for half a month, but it's too big to throw away without being noticed, and I thought no one would ever suspect me. She finishes. I have no interest in hearing more. Take her. I turn to Mom. Go ahead and arrange the press conference. Announce that last night's murder has been solved. Any longer and people might actually start doubting what this family is capable of. Mom nods, warmth in her eyes. Vera is escorted toward the door, but at the threshold she stops. Leo, all of you. If I ever make it out of prison alive, I will make amends. If you ever get the chance, please go to Faye's grave and tell her I'm sorry. She seems to want to say more, but swallows it. As she's taken away, everyone left in the room breaks into applause. Mom gives a thumbs up, her eyes bright. Son, Mom is so proud of you today. I find out later that while I was taking Vera away, Dad Marcassier's office was heavy with tension. Case files spread across his desk, his eyes moving over a room full of troubled faces. Dad speaks. Let's hear some thoughts. His voice is measured. The Qingdu City Bureau has publicly committed to answering to the public within a week. As he speaks, a faint smile tugs at the corner of his mouth. Someone says under their breath, Raymond Zhao really couldn't wait, could he? Can't blame him. It happened in their jurisdiction. It's their right. Dad doesn't seem bothered. The priority is solving the case. What's your read on it? A man in glasses speaks up. This case is complicated and simple at the same time. Complicated because it's a perfect match for the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago. Simple because that killer has most likely resurfaced. He pauses and looks at Dad. When that case happened 10 years ago, Director Yi, you were serving as the head of the Qingdu City Bureau. For it to resurface now, it really is. Before he finishes, Dad waves a hand. We discuss the case, nothing else. You're all from my original team. No one knows that case better than we do. A murder committed in the early hours is already making waves today. The whole city will be watching. If we can't solve it within the deadline, the entire system will face consequences. His expression darkens. But for all the words spoken, no one offers anything useful. Dad watches them exchange helpless glances. His heart sinks. Maybe years of comfort have worn away whatever fire they once had. Just as frustration begins to overtake him, there's a knock at the door. The assistant opens it. An officer bursts in, barely containing his excitement. "Director, great news!" Someone snaps. "What are you rushing in here for? Can't you see we're in a meeting?" The officer looks flustered. "Sorry, I got carried away. We just got word. The murder from last night has been solved." Dead silence falls over the office. 2-3 seconds pass. Everyone leaps to their feet, eyes wide. "You're not joking. The killer from 10 years ago. They caught him. Finally, that monster is done." Surprise rushes across Dad's face too, but the officer's expression falters. "What's wrong? Was there a complication?" "Sir, the killer isn't the one from 10 years ago. The binding method, the state of the body, the blood markings on the back, everything pointed to that old case." "Exactly. We know that binding technique better than anyone. There's never been anything like it. It can't be wrong." Dad is just as bewildered. Then a voice drifts in from outside the door, full of pride. "Just as I thought. You were all fooled by the method. Same as I was, at first. While everyone else was lost, one person saw clearly. Marcus Yi. The Yi family has raised quite a son. The only person who calls Dad by his full name like that is Mom, Vivian Su." "Vivian? What do you mean? Leo was involved in the case?" Dad looks completely lost. Mom nods, her tone certain. "The killer's binding method was only roughly similar. We spent who knows how long studying the body. Leo spotted the difference in 3 seconds. And the killer, he had them arrested in just over an hour." The room goes into shock. They spent hours examining every detail. Someone else saw through it in 3 seconds. They deployed equipment and expertise and came up empty. Someone else brought in the real killer in just over an hour. And that someone was me. When the shock fades, Dad's laughter fills the office. The others feel a little embarrassed, but they're genuinely happy for him. "That's the Yi family for you. Leo's only 17, isn't he?" Mom smiles and nods. The man takes a deep breath and raises his thumb. "Incredible. I'll be the first to admit it. But if the killer isn't the one from 10 years ago, then who is it?" Vera Wang, Faye's assistant, a girl who looked completely ordinary. The room jolts again. Not one of them had cast suspicion on Faye's colleagues for the entire morning. Sometimes those closest to a case are the last ones to see clearly. Dad acts immediately. "Notify Raymond Zhao right away. Hold a press conference and release the case details. Vivian, have Leo attend in person." He straightens up with pride, but Mom just laughs. She shakes her head. "Marcus Yi, my son has something to say about that. There's still plenty of time left in that 1-week deadline. And the reputation this family lost 10 years ago, he intends to get it back." Dad draws a sharp breath. His voice is full of disbelief. "You're saying Leo wants to dig up the killer from 10 years ago?" I get home and go straight to the study. Auntie Wang calls me down for a meal. I answer briefly and tell her not to disturb me. I find the case files from 10 years ago. Thick, but I read through every page. September 16, 2007, 6 in the morning. A female body discovered at Fengyang Park in Kaoguang District. Lena Lee, 23 years old. Head down, body raised. Cause of death, severe trauma to the skull. September 18, 2007. A green belt along Qingguang Road in Aryang District. Sophia Huang, death by asphyxiation. September 29, 2007. Beneath Kaoguang Bridge, Yara Zhang, assaulted and thrown into the river. I read through it all in one breath. I close the file and pick up a pen, writing down every lead. 10 years have passed. Criminal investigation today is nothing like what it was back then. If the same case happened now, it would probably have been solved long ago. I lose myself in notes and paper until Mom walks in carrying lunch. "Mom, why are you back?" "Auntie Wang called me. Said you hadn't come down to eat and she didn't want to bother you." As she speaks, her eyes land on what I've written, and they go wide. "Where did you get this psychological profile of the killer?" I smile. "Simple, just compare the blood markings left on each victim's back. Look, from the very beginning he had already decided to kill 9 people. That's why he carved 9-1 into the first victim's back. But in the photos, the strokes are shaky in several places. That means even he was terrified the first time. Look at the second victim. The markings are noticeably steadier, and as the body count grows, the killer's writing becomes messier and messier. Why? Because by the time he reached the 9th victim and still hadn't been caught, he started to believe he was untouchable, that the law meant nothing to him. From fear at the start, to growing comfortable, then to arrogance. Open contempt for the entire law enforcement system. That's the mental shift from victim 1 to victim 9, and the fact that he stopped after 9, that overturns one of the original conclusions. Mom hasn't caught up yet. Which conclusion? The killer didn't choose his targets at random. He may be disturbed, but he is absolutely a killer with a purpose. These 9 victims, whether directly or indirectly, are connected. Mom pushes back almost instantly. Impossible. Those 9 people didn't know each other at all. What connection could there possibly be? And do you know who reached the original conclusion? Of course. Dad, but does that make it right? She still isn't convinced. I continue. Mom, think about it. If the killer were just a random murderer, even if he decided to kill 9 people, he would have simply written the number 9. There's no reason to leave 9-1, 9-2, which means he had the count planned from the very beginning, and the targets were chosen too. These 9 victims are connected to him. I lay it out so clearly that Mom has no choice but to believe it. In her heart, Dad has always been the finest investigative mind she knows. But I'm not wrong. And every part of my analysis points to the same thing. The 9 victims are linked. So what's your next move? She exhales slowly. Track down the families of all 9 victims and go through everything again. This time we dig to the bottom. It's been 10 years though. They may not all still be in Kingdu. We find as many as we can. 3 families should be enough to start. I move to get up. 2 steps in, Mom grabs me with a grip like iron. My precious son, you eat first. Finish your meal, then your old mom will go with you. No food, no leaving. After lunch, Mom and I head to the police station to check household registry records. 10 years is a long time. 3 of the families have left Kingdu for good. The remaining 6 have mostly moved to new addresses. Kingdu has grown fast over the years. Families that were once merely comfortable have leapt into the ranks of the seriously wealthy, some worth tens of millions, others over 100. The first family we visit is that of Lena Lee, the first victim. They now live in a residential complex on the outskirts of Kingdu. I ring the doorbell. A woman close to 60 opens the door, her face puzzled. Who are you? Can I help you? Mom smiles gently. You don't remember me? I'm Vivian Su. The woman stills, then her eyes well up. Dr. Su, the forensic scientist. She quickly ushers us inside. The home is well furnished, clearly a comfortable life. We sit. She brings tea, her expression hovering between wanting to speak and holding back. I get straight to it. We're here about what happened to your daughter 10 years ago. She sways slightly. Her voice shakes. It's been 10 years. Is there a new lead? Some new theories. I have a few questions. Just tell me what you know. She nods, clearly tense. Did your daughter Lena Lee know the later victim, Sophia Huang? No. And you and your husband? Did you know Sophia Huang's family or Yara Zhang's parents? No. After everything happened, the families met briefly, but we were strangers. Expected. Mom offers a few quiet words of comfort. I shift direction. Do you still have any of her belongings? May I take a look? She shakes her head. Aside from a few photographs, everything she owned was either buried with her or burned. I couldn't bear to keep them. Looking at them hurt too much. Understandable. Some hold on to what's left. Others can't bear to touch the memories. We don't stay long. There's nothing useful here. As we're leaving, Lena Lee's mother grips Mom's hand tightly. Dr. Su, tell me honestly, after 10 years, can this case still be solved? Mom doesn't know what to say, but I do. Don't worry. Expect word within a week. The real killer will be found. 1 week. The exhaustion in her face lifts. Good. Good. If you can find whoever did this, then these 10 years of waiting won't have been for nothing. We leave the building. Mom looks at me with mild reproach. Why were you so sure we found nothing today? Not entirely empty-handed, I say. We've at least ruled out any grudge from the previous generation. Now the question is what connects Lena Lee, Sophia Huang, and Yara Zhang. We head downstairs. Before we reach the car, Lena Lee's mother comes running after us. Dr. Su, wait! She hurries over and pulls a store card from her pocket. This belonged to my daughter. She had quite a bit of money loaded on it. That's why I kept it. Didn't bury it with her. I just suddenly remembered it. Take a look. Maybe it's useful. I take the card. My eyes sharpen. Then I smile. This is very useful. After she goes back upstairs, Mom watches me hold the card like I found buried treasure, completely baffled. Leo, what's so special about this card? Mom, go through each victim's identity and profession one more time. I say nothing else and leave the answer for her to find. The car rides for about 10 minutes. Then Mom lights up. She reaches over and snatches the card. Embossed in gold lettering, Golden Mall. A department store established 15 years ago, forced out of Kingdu 3 years back by the rise of online shopping. But that mall just became a critical lead. The third victim, Yara Zhang, had worked there as a sales clerk. Before Mom can say another word, I cut in. Take us to the old Golden Mall site. Mom puts it all together. She laughs. You little devil. You figured it out the moment you saw that card, and you kept it from me on purpose. I sat here for 10 whole minutes for nothing. Don't you know your old mom is busy? I smile. The moment of realization was worth every minute. Nobody could have predicted that Lena Lee and Yara Zhang would be connected through Golden Mall, which was at the height of its fame 10 years ago. Now we just need to find out whether something happened there before the first murder, something that ties back to the killings. If we find it, the pool of suspects narrows dramatically. Mom listens, then reaches out and squishes my face back and forth. Unbelievable. Are you really my son? If this weren't about the family's reputation, were you planning to hide this forever? I just smile without denying it. I could let other things slide, but letting Mom lose face? That I won't stand for. Mom is overjoyed. She pulls me in with a firm arm around my shoulders. Mom is so happy right now. My son can finally protect me. The car falls quiet. Before long we arrive at the old Golden Mall, now renamed Dawan Plaza. Shopping, leisure, entertainment all under one roof. As we get out, Mom mentions the ownership has changed hands. But fortunately the general manager is still the same man from the Golden Mall days, Manager Lee. He should know something. We head straight to his office. The door opens. Manager Lee greets us with a smile. Professor Su, young Master Leo, what an honor. Once we're seated, he looks at us with visible curiosity. For both of you to come to me personally, I'm truly flattered. Please speak freely. I'll tell you everything I know. Mom gets straight to the point. We want to ask about one thing. 10 years ago, before September 16th, did anything significant happen at Golden Mall? Manager Lee blinks. He gives a dry laugh. Golden Mall, that's a long time ago. It's been so long I honestly can't remember. Understandable, 10 years is a long time. But I watch his eyes and a cold smile rises in me. So Manager Lee is saying he can't remember, and that nothing major happened at Golden Mall that year? My smile goes colder. All right then. We are formally requesting your assistance as officers of the law. Compile every incident of any significance from Golden Mall that year. Have it on Director Yee's desk by 9 tomorrow morning. Every detail, no matter how small, not one thing left out. Manager Lee stares. Young Master Leo, what do you mean by that? Every detail, fully documented, Manager Lee. Your eyes tell me you've already thought of something, you just don't know how to say it. I stand. Since that's the case, this is how we'll proceed. Tomorrow at 9, I hope Director Yee gets to read your report. I catch Mom's eye and we turn to leave. We're almost out the door when Manager Lee panics. Professor Su, young Master Leo, please don't rush off. It was so long ago. I need time to think. He's afraid of offending us. He's even more afraid of crossing the Yee family. Because if the Yee family decides to make trouble, this mall could be inspected from opening to closing, every single day. Mom doesn't quite understand why I shifted tone so suddenly. Manager Lee's words seem reasonable on the surface. Who could easily remember something from that long ago? But whatever I'm doing, she stands with me without question. I stop and turn back. Manager Lee, I've made myself clear. We're here about the serial murder case from 10 years ago. If you're withholding information and we find out later, you will be held legally responsible. I turn to leave again. Manager Lee's jaw tightens. Fine, I'll tell you. Before September 16th, 10 years ago, something significant did happen at Golden Mall, and it involves me personally. I spin around. What happened? Why does it involve you? On September 10th, there was an escalator accident at Golden Mall. The victim was my son. He stops there. His eyes go red instantly. His expression twists into something raw and ugly. Mom and I both freeze. September 10th, 6 days before the first murder, Golden Mall really did have a tragedy. An escalator accident that killed a child. What happened? I press. Manager Lee sinks into the memory, his voice hollow. It was a weekend. My wife was busy, so I brought my son to the mall with me. I didn't think he'd run off to play on the escalator the moment I wasn't watching, and I never imagined the escalator would malfunction at exactly that moment. He was pulled in and crushed. His voice starts to shake. Do you know what happened, young Master Leo? His skull was crushed. Brain matter splattered across the inside of the escalator shaft. By the end, he looks like a wounded animal with nowhere left to go, eyes burning with rage. Mom says softly, I'm sorry. Manager Lee stares at the floor. He doesn't seem to hear her. I watch him for a long moment, then let out a quiet breath. I'm sorry, Manager Lee. We didn't expect this. He lifts his red-rimmed eyes and lets out a hollow laugh. Is there anything else young Master Leo and Dr. Su would like to know? The smile is laced with bitterness, as if asking, does it feel good to tear open old wounds? We don't linger. We leave his office and get back in the car. Mom sees me deep in thought. Leo, what are you thinking? I'm thinking about how 6 days connects Manager Lee's son, Lena Lee, Sophia Huang, and Yara Zhang. Mom's eyes go wide. You're not saying Manager Lee is the killer? Not necessarily. Anyone connected to the case from 10 years ago is a suspect. Manager Lee is one of them. So is everyone who worked at Golden Mall back then. I keep my voice low. I'm just thinking about whether 6 days was enough time for someone to devise a murder plan that meticulous. I prefer to put everyone on the suspect list first, then eliminate them one by one. Whoever's left, that's the killer. The original case files were full of theories, but no one ever looked at Golden Mall. That might be the new angle we need. It might even be the right one. Mom, find out which senior staff from Golden Mall are still in Kingdo. Especially, find out who was present during the escalator accident. Was Lena Lee there? Was Sophia Huang? Any footage from that day would be ideal. We'll probably need to visit the police station. I think there was footage at the time, just not sure if it's still been kept. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go now. The driver accelerates, but Mom looks uneasy. Are we really going to the police station? That's Raymond Zhao's territory. Aren't you worried about tipping him off? Raymond Zhao is no match for the Yi family on his own. But the family backing him is another story. They're on equal footing with us, and the two sides have been tripping each other up for years. I understand her concern, but I smile with confidence. Mom, don't forget. We're going there to investigate the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago. Raymond Zhao has no idea we've already caught Faye's real killer. What's the problem with going now? Mom blinks, then laughs at herself. The car pulls up to the station quickly. Quite a few officers inside know Mom. They stand and greet her. Word naturally reaches Raymond Zhao. He makes a leisurely entrance, all smiles. Well, Professor Su and Leo, what brings you two here? New leads on this morning's murder? He wastes no time fishing for information on the early morning case. Mom speaks up. We're here to access more detailed records on the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago. Director Zhao, the station should still have them on file. Of course, every case this station has ever handled, big or small, has been filed and archived. Though a case from 10 years ago won't be easy to dig up, you're welcome to check with the records room. As long as it's you two, the entire Kingdo station will make it as easy as possible. He waves his hand grandly, projecting the air of someone very much in charge. But what era are we living in? the digital age. The records room still exists, but most files have been digitized and stored permanently on computer. Going through physical files could take forever. Mom's expression tightens. Director Zhao, can't we access the digital records? I'm terribly sorry. Our entire computer system is undergoing upgrades today. Temporarily unavailable. If you're willing to wait, feel free. Mom is about to push back, but I speak first, with a smile. No need. We'll search the records room ourselves. Raymond Zhao smiles coolly. Young Master Leo, Professor Su has clearance to access records. You do not. You're right, I say. I'm not part of the law enforcement system. I have no clearance to view classified files. But that's not a problem. I smile lightly. Director Zhao, your information is a little behind. I wasn't part of the system before, but as of 1 second ago, I've been officially appointed as a special investigator on this case. If you don't believe me, call Director Yi. I'm not saying a few minutes ago, not a few hours ago, 1 second ago. Raymond Zhao's face shifts immediately. Someone, escort Professor Su and young Master Leo to the records room. Take all the time you need. Mom knows this place well. It used to be Dad's office building. She waves off the escort and heads to the records room herself. Inside, 2 older officers greet us. I get straight to it. Which shelf holds the files on the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago? The 2 officers exchange a glance. They smile apologetically. We get a lot of files every year. That particular case, we honestly can't remember. Then where are all the files from 10 years ago? Shelf C12, but there are over 1,000 folders up there. How would you even begin? I don't answer. I walk straight to shelf C12 and start searching by month. Finding the right section isn't hard. The challenge is pulling out the relevant details from hundreds of folders. Mom and I stand on the stepladder and go through them together. After a while, Mom lets out a quiet sound. We found it. Looking at the sheer volume of files, Mom can't help rolling her eyes. This case dragged on for so long back then. No wonder there's this much paper. We only need the witness, interview records. Everything else is a waste of time. I remind her, but I don't reach for the witness files myself. Instead, I keep scanning the shelf. Mom quietly flips through the pages, focusing on the public witness statements, especially anyone who assisted the investigation. Time ticks by slowly. After a while, a strange smile creeps across my face. Mom, in those case files, is there someone who gave a statement? A man named Jackson Xiao? Mom immediately flips through the pages. Yes. How did you know? I hold up the file in my hand and smile with complete certainty. Whether the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago gets solved, it all comes down to Jackson Xiao. Jackson Xiao? Neither Mom nor I know this name, but as he appears in the files, something in Mom's memory begins pulling her back 10 years. That case shook the entire city. As the lead forensic scientist, Mom followed every development just as closely as any officer on the force. She vaguely remembers being present when Jackson Xiao gave his statement. The memory sharpens slowly. Mom sets down the file. Jackson Xiao, if I'm remembering correctly, he was the head of security at Golden Mall. That's right. I hand her the file I'm holding. Her eyes sharpen. This is the file on the escalator accident. I nod. The records from the day manager Lee's son died, and guess what else I found? What? Tell me. There are several witness statements here, and one of them is from Yara Zhang's mother. I read from it quietly. That day, Manager Lee's child was playing on the escalator. I called out to him several times. He clearly heard me, but he ignored every word. My supervisor called for me, so I turned to go back to my post. But the moment I turned away, the escalator malfunctioned. The child's body was pulled in. His head, the investigator asked, "Why didn't you press the emergency stop?" I was in shock. Everyone around me was in shock. None of us could think straight. These are Yara Zhang's statements from back then. They tell us exactly what happened that day. Manager Lee's child ignored all warnings and kept playing on the escalator. The people around him hesitated, held back by who his father was. They couldn't say anything, but they couldn't stay silent either. And no one imagined the escalator would fail at that exact moment, pulling the child in feet first. If someone had hit the emergency stop in time, the worst outcome would have been losing a limb, not his life. My mind starts running through possibilities, but when one particular theory takes shape, I keep it to myself. Instead, I ask about something else. Wait, why is there no footage from the scene? Mom's expression shifts. The crime scenes in the serial torture murder case were almost all in areas with no surveillance. Back then, it wasn't like now. Only scattered footage of the victims while they were still alive. I mean, a major shopping mall had an escalator accident that killed a child. How is there not a single piece of footage? Mom looks taken aback. That can't be right. The file shows the investigating officers did review footage at the time, but it was never archived. I slide the file back onto the shelf and take Mom's arm. We need to find Jackson Xiao. My gut tells me he's the link between both cases. Find him, and we find the killer from 10 years ago. Mom doesn't argue. We put everything back and leave the records room immediately. The moment we're out, the 2 officers inside head straight to Raymond Zhao. Whatever they report, we don't care. We have no time to waste on office politics. We leave the station and head to the department that handles residential registry records. In a city as large as Qingdu, finding one person without it would be nearly impossible. The supervisor is cooperative. Nobody in Qingdu dares to turn the Yi family away. To make sure we hear the moment they find something, we even ignore Auntie Wang's calls about dinner. It isn't until 8 in the evening that a staff member finally comes running with results. Professor Su, young Master Leo, we found Jackson Xiao. We both rise at the same time. Where does he live? The staff member's expression falters. I frown. Is something wrong? It's not that it's difficult to say, it's just that the Jackson Xiao who served as head of security at Golden Mall, he died 10 years ago. Mom and I stare at each other in shock. In the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago, the one person who could be the key to everything was already dead 10 years ago. I hadn't seen this coming. Whether it's the serial torture murder case or the escalator tragedy involving manager Lee's son, Jackson Xiao has always felt like the bridge between them. He gave statements in both cases. I don't waste a second. I have the staff pull up his full records immediately. The records confirm this is the man I'm looking for, but he died in a car accident on October 4th of that same year. The driver responsible was caught a few months later, but died of cancer in prison not long after. I read through everything and narrow my eyes. This was a contract killing. Mom, with over 20 years as a forensic scientist, picks up on the same thing. His death was no accident. Yara Zhang, a sales clerk at Golden Mall, died on September 29th. Jackson Xiao died on October 4th, 5 days apart, and the driver who hit Jackson Xiao just happened to be terminally ill with cancer, making it almost impossible not to be suspicious. It seems the serial murders from 10 years ago had more than 9 victims. Mom's voice drops. 10. I let go of the mouse. It's dark outside. Let's set the case aside for now and go home for dinner. Mom glances at her watch and smacks her forehead. Right. It's past 8. I'm used to skipping meals, but you're young. You can't be eating like this. The moment food comes up, she's all focus. She pulls me out the door. We arrive home to find the Yi house lit up bright. Dad Marcus Yi is on the sofa watching television. Beside him sit 2 elders, my grandparents, Gerald Yi and Gloria Zue. Grandpa carries a natural authority without needing to raise his voice. Grandma is poised and elegant, but her eyes hold the depth of someone who has seen everything. People in Qingdu once described the Yi family this way. Except for the teenage young master, every member of the family, man or woman, is a tiger in the world of law enforcement. Even the gentle-looking Grandma Xue Yuzhu was a celebrated criminal investigation expert, retired now, but never forgotten. She once traveled to northeast China personally to capture the country's most wanted gang leader. I walk through the door with a grin. Grandpa, Grandma, what brought you back? Grandma has always had a soft spot for me. The moment she sees her grandson, she jumps up with delight, takes my hands in hers, then glances outside at the dark sky. Her eyes sharpen. She turns to Dad. Have you eaten? Dad looks confused. Mom, didn't we just eat together? How could you sit down and eat? Grandma is indignant. Your child is out there running around all day on your behalf, and you're at home eating a full meal. Is that what a father looks like? Dad's face scrunches like he's bitten something sour. He wants to say, you ate just as heartily yourself, but he doesn't dare. He just keeps apologizing. Grandma humps and calls into the kitchen. Auntie Wang, make a couple more dishes. We can't let my precious grandson and wonderful daughter-in-law go hungry. Mom and I both feel a little embarrassed. After dinner, Grandpa takes off his glasses and asks, Leo, I heard you were out all day today working on the case with your mother. Yeah, good progress. Dad leans forward immediately. Oh, a lead on the case from 10 years ago? Before he even finishes, Grandma smacks him on the arm. How dare you ask? If it weren't for us back then, do you think you'd still be sitting in that position? Mom, you can't just throw your son aside the moment a grandson shows up. I came from you, and so did my grandson, through you. As for you, I've had 40-some years of you. I'm tired of looking at you. As she says this, she peels an orange for me. I eat it and smile. The reason the case from 10 years ago was never solved. A big part of it was investigator negligence. Exactly, Mom adds. To put it plainly, the biggest reason is you, Marcus Yi. Dad's brow creases. I was careful at every step back then. How could I have been negligent? I speak slowly. You never looked at Golden Mall, and the victims weren't as unconnected as everyone assumed. Lena Lee and Yara Zhang were both sales clerks at Golden Mall. Shortly after Yara died, the head of security, Jackson Xiao, was killed in a suspicious road accident. And before all of that, manager Lee's son died in the escalator accident. The single most important location, Golden Mall, was completely overlooked. That's why the real killer walked free for 10 years, and why this family has carried the blame for just as long. Dad's expression changes completely. He says nothing. He just stares at me. Grandpa and Grandma do the same, but differently. Grandma picks up a pen and starts mapping it out quickly on paper. Before long, she writes down a name. Manager Lee. Unless I'm wrong, he's the prime suspect. Grandma sets down the pen. I glance at the paper and give a thumbs up. Grandma still got it, but Grandma doesn't smile. Her expression is grave. Even if we suspect Manager Lee, where's the evidence? 10 years have passed. It's likely been destroyed. No. A small smile. Jackson Xiao or Yara Zhang, they'll tell us where to find it. They're both dead. I say quietly, someone once told me, the dead can still speak. The night deepens. The lights of the Yi house go out one by one, but in one room, Mom and Dad are still awake. Vivian, have you noticed something off about Leo? Dad sets down his book, a slight frown on his face. Mom doesn't look pleased. And you have the nerve to say that, if this weren't tied to the case from 10 years ago, do you think he'd be stepping forward like this? Right now, public opinion is linking Faye's murder to the one 10 years ago. If we can't give people answers, what will that mean for this family? I understand the stakes, but Faye's case has already been resolved, hasn't it? Mom scoffs. Marcus Yi, sitting in that high seat has made you soft in the head. If you stood up and told everyone the killer was Vera Wang, how many people would actually believe you? The case from 10 years ago left a mark on this city that never healed. Faye's death has been all over the news. The whole city is in an uproar. Every street corner is buzzing with talk that the killer from 10 years ago is back. The online backlash is impossible to contain. People have even dug up the names of the lead investigators from back then, and the attacks are pouring in. Dad's eyes open. You're right. No one would believe us. That Vera Wang dropped a time bomb right in our laps. Mom's tone softened slightly. But setting that aside, I'll admit I'm amazed. Our son used to be so timid. A little spoiled even. Nothing like what you'd expect from a family like ours. But spending the whole day with him today, I feel like I never really knew him. He truly is my son. By the end, she can't help patting herself on the back. Dad sits a little straighter, pride written across his face. But neither of them could have imagined that in the quiet of this late night, someone would open a door and slip out of the house. That someone is me. It's nearly midnight. I walk for a while before flagging down a taxi. The driver looks exhausted. Kid, out this late? Your parents don't give you grief? I smile and shake my head. Later the better. Take me to Huanshan Cemetery, outside the city. The driver's eyes go wide. Where? Huanshan Cemetery. Late at night, a 17-year-old who isn't going home, isn't heading to an internet cafe, is asking to be taken to a cemetery. It's past midnight. The driver scrubs his face hard, confirms I'm actually alive, then takes a long breath. A fare out to the suburbs pays well. He steels himself and drives. We reach the cemetery close to 1 in the morning. I get out. The driver calls after me with genuine concern. Hey kid, what on earth are you doing here at this hour? I smile. Catching a thief. Wanna come take a look? He shakes his head immediately and drives off as fast as he can. I smile to myself and walk into the cemetery. The cemetery at this hour feels cold and hollow, but it doesn't bother me. In my past life I spent time in graveyards, sat through entire nights in front of headstones, letting the cold settle around me. I pick up my pace. Before long, I stop at a grave. A photo is affixed to the headstone. A man who looks to be around 30, strong features. I look at the headstone and say quietly, Jackson Xiao. Do you think your old superior, Manager Lee, will come to visit you tonight? I step off to the side. As someone who was once a criminal myself, I understand a certain type of mind all too well, especially those who have committed serious crimes and were never caught. Inside, they are arrogant and untouchable. In public, they may appear perfectly ordinary, but turn your back, and their eyes go cold as a snake's. Some even let their guard slip on purpose, playing games, drawing people in. Manager Lee didn't leave a strong impression on me at first. He seemed like the most ordinary person in the world, but if he is the killer, then he'll have already realized that Jackson Xiao's name could surface, and once that thought takes hold, he might just come to this grave to share what he's accomplished over the past 10 years. It's a long shot, but Manager Lee is a lonely man. Over the past decade, he divorced his wife, has no children, lives alone every day. Now that everything from 10 years ago is being dug up again, if I put myself in his position, if that were me, I'd want to talk to someone too. But for a man with blood on his hands, the only one he can speak his secrets to is the dead. Time passes, second by second. After a long while, something catches the edge of my vision. A faint light. A flash below in the cemetery, gone almost immediately, but I caught it. A few minutes later, a figure in a sharp suit appears at Jackson Xiao's grave. He sits down, lights a cigarette in silence, and then speaks, his voice thick with cold amusement. Jackson Xiao, someone has finally started remembering what I did 10 years ago. Some nobody decided to copy my methods, couldn't even tie the rope right and had the nerve to impersonate me. Don't you find that pathetic? But those idiots at the station, just as useless as they were 10 years ago. Tell me, should I make a real comeback? I killed for my son's revenge back then, but I never expected killing would become something I craved. Do you have any idea how much I've been itching these past 10 years? As his words fade, I speak from the shadows. Manager Lee, why don't I give you that chance? Let's scratch that itch of yours. I step out of the dark. Manager Lee's face floods with shock. What are you doing here? He leaps to his feet. I smile softly. Relax. You're a man who evaded law enforcement for 10 years. A genuinely high-intelligence criminal. Getting rattled this easily doesn't suit someone like you. His expression shifts through shadow and uncertainty. A moment of silence, then he speaks. You suspected me the moment you saw me this afternoon, didn't you? No, let me rephrase that. The moment we came to find you. You knew it was almost over. Manager Lee lets out a full laugh. I know you're probably wearing a recording device. But you do know, a recording made without willing consent can't be used as evidence. I shake my head. I'm not as complicated as you think. I've never been interested in recordings. I came to see what kind of person you really are. He frowns. He doesn't quite believe the no recording part. It can't be used as primary evidence, but it could still help. But looking at me, he starts to probe with a cold smile. So what kind of person do you think I am? Someone who's genuinely good at this. By the way, where did you learn that binding technique? There were only a few days between your son's death and Lena Lee's murder. That's nowhere near enough time to learn something like that. I think you already knew it. A flash of pride crosses his face. That binding method caused more panic than you can imagine 10 years ago. People had the same nightmare, dreaming of being bound that way, waking up drenched in cold sweat. Manager Lee clearly has no intention of telling me more. He says coldly, guess. He turns and starts walking away. I watch his back and speak evenly. Wait, still trying to get something out of me? He turns with a cold laugh. Leo, I came tonight to visit a former subordinate. Nothing in the law says you can't visit a grave in the middle of the night. And everything you've said, I haven't understood a word of it. So even if you think I'm the killer, without evidence, I am still just Manager Lee, general manager of Dawan Plaza. He finishes and laughs again, loudly, then walks away without looking back. I let out a quiet sigh. That arrogant. He's asking for it. The words barely leave my mouth before I grab him by the hair. He freezes with shock. In his mind, if it weren't for who my family is, he wouldn't even bother talking to me. A 17-year-old kid, gifted or not, still just a boy who hasn't seen the world. But he didn't count on my grip being this strong. The moment I grab him, he can't move at all. Leo, what do you think you're doing? You're the son of a great family. Don't tell me you're willing to break the law. Let go of me. Manager Lee knows the law well. He spent years studying it, watching for every loophole, preparing for the day he might get caught. But he overlooked one thing. I am someone with no leash and no hesitation. Even if I put you down right here, who's going to do anything to me? I say with a quiet laugh. My foot comes down on his left leg. There may be someone in Kingdu who could hold me accountable, but that person is definitely not you, Manager Lee. I barely look like I'm applying force. Then comes a sharp crack. He screams. I crouch in front of him, eyes narrowed, smiling. You don't have to tell me, I already know. Lena Lee, Yara Zhang, Sophia Huang, on the day your son died, they were all standing near that escalator. They watched your son die. And because they stood there and did nothing, you decided they were responsible for your son's death. That hatred made them your targets. And one by one, you killed them. Am I right? In the escalator accident files, only Yara Zhang's statement was recorded, because she was the only one among the 9 victims who worked at Golden Mall. But that day, whether by coincidence or something else, all 9 of them happened to be near that escalator when it happened. Manager Lee seems to forget the pain entirely. His eyes go wide. His face is covered in disbelief. The look on his face asks one question. How do you know something no one else knows? I lift my foot. I start walking down the hill. I'll give you one more day. Use it to make things a little more interesting, because when the time is up, the game is over. My voice drops to almost nothing toward the end. Almost to myself. Solving cases might actually be more fun than committing them. Looks like I'll have plenty to keep me busy. Manager Lee stares at my back, frozen. He's probably thinking, is matching wits with a high-intelligence criminal really just a game to Leo? Over an hour later, I return to the Yi house. The whole place is still asleep. No one knows I was ever gone. When I open my eyes again, it's fully bright outside. Mom is calling me for breakfast. After washing up and eating, Grandpa heads back to the military academy. Grandma goes to her office. Mom and Dad rush out as well. I water the plants, then leave the house. I gave Manager Ali 24 hours. During that window, I will get the evidence I need and put him behind bars. Whatever he went through, he had no right to bury 9 lives alongside his grief. He doesn't deserve that. And one man will not be allowed to damage this family's name. The ride from home to Jackson Xiao's address takes nearly half an hour. I walk to the door and knock. A hunched woman in her 60s answers. Young man, who are you looking for? Ma'am, I'm an officer with the station. I pull out my credentials. I told Raymond Zhao I could become a temporary investigator at any time, and to avoid complications, I'd actually had Dad arrange it. Please take a look. I'm here because I have some questions. She's literate, glances at it, then says, there's only me here, just an old woman. What could possibly concern the law? I'm caught off guard. This tiny apartment, barely 30 square meters, and she's completely alone. I step inside and accept the tea she offers with both hands. The tea has gone a little stale, but I don't say a word. I take a sip. Ma'am, where's the rest of your family? Bitterness crosses her face. My son passed in an accident 10 years ago. My husband couldn't take the loss. He followed a month later. We were such a good family, all 3 of us. Now it's just this old woman, alone for 10 years. My eyes narrow slightly. I hadn't expected Jackson Xiao's family to look like this. Jackson Xiao was killed because he knew Manager Lee's secret. His father died of heartbreak after losing his only son. Manager Lee, directly or indirectly, has 11 lives on his hands. The weight of that lands hard, but my face stays steady. I see. Ma'am, I'm sorry to have to ask this, but I'm here about your son, Jackson Xiao. A case from 10 years ago. Through careful investigation, we believe your son may be the most important witness. She sighs. My son has been gone for 10 years. I don't know anything about what he was involved in. Won't you just be wasting your time? Ma'am, I just need you to tell me. Before the accident, did your son ever mention anything he needed to keep safe? And he was around 30 when he passed. Was there anyone he was very close to at the time? The question makes her eyes well up. Yes, she answers. He was seeing a sales clerk from Golden Mall at the time. Why was my son's life so hard? He finally found someone, and she died horribly. Then he himself was gone not long after. Heaven above, why did you do this to our family? One question and she unravels. I never imagined Jackson Xiao and Yara Zhang were a couple. I gently pat her back. Ma'am, I'm here precisely because of the case involving your son's girlfriend, Yara Zhang. Tell me, after Yara died, did your son behave unusually? The old woman furrows her brow, drifting into memory. Then something surfaces. Yes. That night he was different. I heard him come home in the middle of the night and shut himself in his room, crying like his heart was breaking. My husband and I went to ask. He refused to say a word. My chest tightens. Jackson Xiao really is the key. Ma'am, think carefully. In those days, was there anything he seemed especially attached to? Anything he kept close? There was a small belt pouch. He carried it with him almost every day. But on the day of the accident, he'd left it at home. When we held his funeral, I buried it with him. My heart sinks. From what she's just told me, it's almost certain. The most critical evidence is inside that pouch. But the pouch was buried with him. To get to it, we'd have to open Jackson Xiao's grave. But for someone of her generation, would she ever allow it? Looking at her grief-stricken face, I feel the weight of it. But without opening that coffin, there's no evidence. After a moment, I test the waters. Ma'am, do you truly believe your son died in an accident? She blinks slightly. Yes, the driver admitted it in court, didn't he? But did you know he had terminal cancer? He died in prison shortly after being sentenced. She nods slowly. I found out later. That accident destroyed his family too. I hated them at first, but what good does hate do in the end? Between her words, I hear something else. She is someone who has found a way to make peace with herself. Otherwise, she could never have forgiven the person responsible for her son's death simply because his family suffered too. Ma'am, if I told you your son was deliberately murdered, would you believe me? Her eyes go wide. She can't speak for a long moment. I guide her to sit and speak slowly. Ma'am, I can't say for certain yet, but his death is directly connected to the serial torture murder case that shook Kingdu 10 years ago. And whatever is in that buried pouch, it's critical. You mean, take it out? Her voice trembles. I nod firmly. He's been gone for 10 years. But if he was truly murdered, don't you want to find the real killer so he can rest in peace? Tears pour down her face. She keeps repeating, how can we do this? He's been lying in there for so many years. Do we have to disturb him? Ma'am, you are a reasonable woman. You even found it in yourself to forgive the driver who killed your son. Why won't you let him die with the truth known? She falls silent again, head bowed, saying nothing. I don't push. I wait for her to decide on her own. Time passes, second by second. Finally, she looks up. Does it have to be this way? We looked at that pouch. There was nothing in it. Ma'am, maybe it wasn't examined carefully enough at the time. If there really is nothing inside, I promise I'll have your son moved to a better resting place. But there's one condition. It has to be today. Wait any longer and things may change. The old woman stops hesitating. She nods. All right, I'll trust you. I pick up my phone immediately and arrange for a professional team to go to Huanshan Cemetery to open a grave. I also arrange for a ceremonial rite to be performed. Understood, young Master Leo. When will the team arrive? The grave must be opened before this evening. Everything done by 4 o'clock. I hang up. I turn to Jackson Xiao's mother. Ma'am, let's head to Huanshan Cemetery now. Young man, you really think Dajiang won't blame me for this? I give her shoulder a gentle pat. If he was murdered, he'd only blame you for not finding out the truth. She says nothing more. We go together. Before long, the ceremony master and the workers arrive. I give a nod. As the work begins, I already know something important. Jackson Xiao may not have died unjustly. He and Yara Zhang were a couple, and if he truly had evidence against Manager Li, he should have gone straight to the authorities. But he didn't, and a few days later, Manager Li had him killed. There's only one explanation. Jackson Xiao and Manager Li shared a secret that couldn't be spoken aloud. I would never say this in front of his mother. Otherwise, there's no way she'd let us open the grave. After the ceremony is performed, the workers move in. After a long while, the coffin is brought up from the ground. There is no intact body inside. Cremation has been standard practice for years. Only a few personal belongings, and the pouch. The coffin is brought up. I look at the weeping old woman and ask gently, Ma'am, may we open it? Go ahead. If there is an injustice, he would want it known. She wipes her eyes. I nod to the workers. With a slow creak, the coffin opens. The first thing I see is the pouch. I reach in and grab it. I pull the stiff zipper open, but when it's open, it's completely empty, as if nothing was ever placed inside. 10 years underground, the fabric has changed, but things don't simply vanish. I stay calm. I reach in and run my fingers carefully along every surface. No one around me understands what I'm doing, including the old woman herself. She knew the pouch was empty, but I insisted it held critical evidence, and that's why she agreed to open the grave. And she had her own reasons, too. She wanted a better resting place for her son. Young man, can this pouch really be used as evidence? She sounds uneasy. I'd known all along that she knew the pouch was empty, but I don't blame her. The evidence has been found. Ma'am, unless something goes wrong, your son's true cause of death will be made public tonight. I turn to the workers. Have Mr. Xiao's remains kept at the funeral home for now. A new burial site will be arranged within 2 days. The old woman grabs my hands, overcome. Young man, you knew I lied to you. Why are you still doing this? Every parent's heart is the same, ma'am, and the Yi family keeps its word. What's promised won't be taken back. Besides, the pouch isn't empty after all, is it? I don't stay. I take a car straight to Mom's office. She's going back through the autopsy reports on Lena Lee and the other victims, hoping to find something new in the old records. When the door swings open, she's about to object, then sees it's me, and her expression shifts to surprise. What are you doing here? Mom, call Dad. We can issue the arrest warrant for Manager Lee right now. Arrest Manager Lee? You have evidence? She gasps. See for yourself. I pull out the pouch with a hint of mystery, the stitching already unpicked by my hand, and draw out a folded photograph from inside. The fold is tight and small. The photo is dark and blurry, nearly all black, but a single streak of silver light cuts through the darkness, illuminating a face. Yara Zhang was never killed at Chaoguang Bridge. She was killed at Chaoguang Park, which has since been demolished. Using the decorative lights along the park's flower beds, Jackson Xiao captured Manager Lee and Yara Zhang on camera. Mom is stunned beyond words. The original investigation assumed the primary crime scene was Chaoguang Bridge. No one imagined the real location was Chaoguang Park, and no one could have imagined that while a brutal killer was taking a life that night, Someone else was hiding in the shadows, using what little light existed to photograph the killer's face. Mom stares at the yellowed photograph. She can barely believe it. But why didn't Jackson Xiao hand this over to us at the time? Mom, you may not know this yet. Jackson Xiao and Yara Zhang were in a relationship. Mom's eyes go wide. That's impossible. If they were together, why didn't he save her? Only Manager Lee can answer that. Call Dad now. We can hold a press conference before dark and announce the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago is solved. Mom calls Dad immediately. He's so excited I can hear his voice from where I'm standing. Really? The case from 10 years ago? Solved? Our sons solved it? Of course. Left to you, who knows if it would have been solved in another 10 years. Now send people to Dawan Plaza to make the arrest. Mom snaps back. Dad roars with laughter, then catches himself. Wait, I had people watching Dawan Plaza since this morning. Manager Lee hasn't shown up all day. That can't be right. Did he run? Mom's expression shifts sharply. I take the phone with a smile. He's not going anywhere. Last night I found a moment to break his leg. He should be in a hospital right now. Check the hospitals. I'll go pick him up myself. What? You broke his leg last night? I thought you were asleep, Dad shouts. I roll my eyes. We'd already tipped him off. How could I sleep? No wonder Grandma says you stumbled into that position. Stop talking nonsense. I'm sending people to find him right now. I'll deal with you later. He hangs up, exasperated. Within 10 minutes, word comes back. Manager Lee is lying in an orthopedic hospital. A photograph buried for 10 years has become the most critical piece of evidence. But sending anyone else to handle Manager Lee, I'm not confident they can break him. Too much time has passed. One photograph alone isn't ironclad proof. But that's fine. I'm already on my way to the hospital. Manager Lee isn't going anywhere. As expected, he's lying in a hospital bed. Left leg in plaster, expression dark. He doesn't believe I could actually find evidence against him. But the moment he pictures my face, resentment surges through him. Leo, you think breaking my leg traps me here and gives you time to dig things up? Don't flatter yourself. 10 years and nothing touched me. You're a kid. Sure, you're capable. But when it comes to brains, you're nowhere close. A vicious smile creeps across his face. In all of Kingdu, he's just a nobody. But this nobody once threw an entire city into panic. He's confident, defiant. He glances at the clock. 3 in the afternoon. Less than 2 hours until the evening deadline he'd agreed to with Leo. Will Leo actually show up with officers to arrest him? He lets out another cold laugh, but the smile hasn't even faded when the hospital room door bursts open. 7 or 8 officers flood in, weapons trained on him. Manager Lee goes blank, staring, mouth almost forming words. But when he sees me step out from behind the officers, something inexplicable grips him. Leo, why did you bring so many officers? I give him one brief look. I turn to the officers. Close the door shuts. I continue. Suspect Manager Lee attempted to flee. I had no choice but to break his other leg. Before the words even finish, I'm already in front of him. His face drains of color. My fist comes down. A scream tears through the room. Manager Lee, you are suspected of murdering Lena Lee, Sophia Huang, Yara Zhang, Jackson Xiao, and 6 others. 10 victims in total, 10 years ago. This is your arrest warrant. Look carefully. I hold it in front of him. His whole body shakes with pain, but his eyes lock onto it. That's impossible. You have no evidence. What gives you the right? He snarls. If I had no evidence, would I be here? I smile. Does the name Jackson Xiao and a certain photograph ring any bells? His face goes pale for a full 3 seconds. His lips tremble. Not a word comes out. Looks like you remember. Good thing I dug it out of his coffin. I hold up the photograph. Manager Lee, think carefully. Do you happen to have a twin? He reaches for it. Not a chance. To have come this far, and you still think your intelligence is above everyone else's. Still think your methods can outsmart every investigator in the system. Manager Lee, you got careless. When you paid that dying driver to kill Jackson Xiao 10 years ago, you should have finished the job, not destroying that one piece of evidence that makes you a failure. My voice is ice. He deflates completely. He sinks back against the bed. You really dug it out of his grave. He's been buried for 10 years, and you still managed to pull out something that matters. I thought what goes into the ground stays safe. I hold his gaze. Talk. That night, why didn't Jackson Xiao stop you from killing Yara Zhang? Why did he only take a photo? That's what I'm most curious about. Jackson Xiao and Yara Zhang were a couple. Any man watching someone kill the person he loves, he wouldn't stand there taking photos. Manager Lee says nothing. He closes his eyes. I know exactly what he's thinking. I smile. You're thinking about how to minimize your sentence. Forget it. With me involved, you're not getting out of this. He slowly opens his eyes. He asks a strange question. Leo, are you really only 17? I pause. I touch my own face. I smile. What do you think? Your mind. Your intelligence. There's no way you're just a kid. He says it through gritted teeth. I give a quiet smile. That's not important. What's important is that you owe me an answer. After a long exhale, he speaks. Honestly, I don't fully understand why Jackson Xiao did what he did that night. All I know is he came to me later demanding 500,000 to keep quiet. I knew immediately, someone like that can't be bought. He had to be eliminated. But I think there must have been something serious between him and Yara Zhang, something unresolvable. At the time, a manager at the mall was also pursuing her. When I moved in, she was still on the phone with him. Maybe Jackson Xiao had his own resentment toward her. And besides, Jackson Xiao came from nothing. Head of security, yes, but the pay was never much. More likely he saw this as a way to get money. Or maybe he didn't arrive until after I'd already killed her. There's only one photo. It shows me sitting beside her body after the fact. I start to understand. Though only Jackson Xiao truly knows why. Love has a way of blinding people more completely than anything else. Enough about him. Did you really take out 9 people just because of what happened to your son on that escalator? At that, something savage ignites in Manager Lee's eyes. His voice drops low. Do you know, Lena Lee was standing right next to my son. She was quick. She got herself in time. She got herself out in time. But why was she so stupid? She had time. Couldn't she grab my son and take him with her? She had time. And Sophia Huang, that woman was standing right next to the emergency stop. Why didn't she just press it? My son would have lost his feet at worst. But their panic and stupidity cost him his life. He's like a crazed animal. I shake my head slowly. I understand your psychology better than you might think. When you killed Lena Lee, the hatred was real. But somewhere along the way you discovered that killing was interesting. Like smoking, or something stronger. It becomes addictive. Am I right? He stares. How do you know that? I let out a quiet breath, turn, and say nothing more. The officers move in to cuff him. He's still shouting. Leo, what are you? I'm just Leo. I don't turn around. Manager Lee, I simply know how people like you think toward the end. You stopped wanting revenge for your son at all. Because somewhere inside, you knew those women were innocent. They may have made a mistake, but not one worth dying for. You just couldn't stop yourself. And when law enforcement couldn't find a trace of you, you became reckless. You wanted to see the fear on their faces before the end. You enjoyed touching their cold bodies afterward, didn't you? By the time I finish, I'm already out the door. Manager Lee stares at my back, unable to speak. I wasn't wrong. By the time he killed Sophia Huang, the hatred was already gone. He just hadn't expected killing to become a need. Manager Lee is dragged away with 2 broken legs and cuffs. I stand outside the room and call Dad. Has everything been arranged with the driver's family? All taken care of. They'll testify when the case goes to trial. Dad's voice is warm. I can tell he's genuinely happy. Oh, there's a press conference this evening. Come along. Not interested. The moment the case is closed, I'm no longer part of the system. I'm still a student. Right. You're still a student. Dad rode your coattails on this one. How about a big gift to make up for it? Sounds good. Depends on what it is. We talk a bit more, then hang up. Nothing else to do. I head home. The moment Auntie Wang sees me, she wants to make food. I claim I'm not hungry and turn on the TV. By evening, nearly every channel on Kingdo television is running the same report. Breaking news. The serial torture murder case that shook Kingdo 10 years ago has been officially solved. The suspect was apprehended at an orthopedic hospital at 3:42 this afternoon. According to the Law Enforcement Bureau, the torture murder case from 2 days ago and the decade-old serial case were committed by different perpetrators. Both cases have now been closed. Beyond the efforts of the Law Enforcement Bureau, a young man with the surname Yi, who has declined to be identified, made the greatest contribution to solving both cases. I watched the report. I'm not surprised my involvement leaked. I was there the whole time. There's no hiding that. But I didn't expect Mom to call so soon. Mom, what is it? Jackson Xiao's mother is here. She has something to say to you. Her voice comes through the phone. Young Master Leo, thank you for your kindness. But my son doesn't deserve that kind of honor. I mean it. Thank you. And I want to take this chance to apologize. I shouldn't have hidden the truth from you. A smile comes to my face. No need for any of that. No need at all. Leave him where he is. He made his choices. Then we'll do as you say. I don't do good deeds without reason. There are too many people in this world who truly need help. No point going out of my way for someone who may not have deserved it. The reason I made that promise in the first place was because I said it before we opened the coffin. Now that she's declined, I simply follow her lead. I set down the phone and go back to the television. Mom and Dad don't get home until nearly 10 at night. The moment they walk in, Mom calls me out of my room. Leo, your dad has a gift for you. I honestly didn't think Dad would actually follow through, so I looked genuinely surprised. Dad, you were serious about that? Dad laughs out loud. He claps me on the shoulder. What did you think? You should have seen Raymond Zhao's face when he came to my office. It was deeply satisfying. You did the most for this family and for the entire law enforcement system. A gift is non-negotiable. Let's see it then. Stop being mysterious. But after a moment, neither of them moves. There's no gift box on the table either. Mom smiles with pressed lips. Your dad is arranging for you to graduate from high school early. Next semester, you'll be enrolled directly into the Kingdo Police Academy. I go completely still. At first, hearing I don't have to finish senior year, I'm quietly pleased. Then I realize it's just a different school. Dad sees my expression and speaks up. The Kingdo Police Academy is the highest-ranked law enforcement institution in the country. Everyone who gets in has the talent to become an exceptional officer. When it was founded, your grandfather was its honorary principal. I graduated from there myself. Leo, the people there are genuinely interesting. Don't you want to find out for yourself? The top graduates, as long as nothing goes wrong, almost always end up in positions of authority. But more than a few people have said, the top students from the Kingdo Police Academy could just as easily have been criminal masterminds. If they ever turned to crime, they'd send the entire law enforcement system into chaos. Now that actually sounds interesting. In this world, I lack neither money nor power. I'm the one who gets to push others around. Nobody dares do the same to me. My days consist of eating, playing, and sleeping when I'm done. And honestly, it's gotten dull. So when the serial torture murder case surfaced, and when it became tied to the Yi family, I couldn't wait to get involved. And if the academy really is full of people that interesting, life is about to get a lot more entertaining. At least more than staring at textbooks in high school every day. Alright, I'll go. Mom practically lights up. Yes, yes, yes. Mom's going to start getting your things ready for next semester right now. I stare at her. Mom, next semester is still a month away. What's the rush? News of the serial torture murder case being solved continues to spread through every corner of Kingdu. The mysterious young man with the surname Yi takes on an almost mythical status in the rumors. A born genius of criminal investigation, a top student from some elite international law enforcement academy. I scroll through the comments and can't help grinning. But people are busy. The buzz fades fast. Half a month later, manager Lee and Vera Wang go to trial one after the other, and the story hits the news again. Another wave of attention. But my mind has already moved on. I've been browsing whatever I can find about the Kingdu Police Academy. Unfortunately, there's almost nothing online about it. It must be a deliberately protected institution. Before Dad mentioned it, I had no idea it even existed. Every summer, the academy sends invitations to carefully selected students. Beyond children of prominent families, it also includes kids from ordinary backgrounds. But the condition is the same across the board. They all have the potential to become exceptional officers or leaders in the system. As the new term approaches, I receive the Academy's invitation. Dad's policy: don't use the Yi family's name until the last possible moment. When the invitation arrives at the house, Dad can't stop smiling. Those old guys at the Academy still have their heads screwed on right. Our Leo cracked 2 major cases. If they didn't come knocking on their own, that would have been an outrage. With the whole family in happy anticipation, the new semester finally arrives. Mom packs bag after bag, clothes, daily essentials, backup supplies. I stare at the mountain of bags and feel a headache coming on. Mom, the academy is in Kingdu, half an hour from home. What is all this? I'm not moving to another country. Mom waves it off and points to each bag. This one is all clothes, this one is all shoes, and this bag, remember this one, it's full of medicine just in case. Oh, and here's a card. Mom will check the balance every so often. When it runs low, I'll top it up. I take the card with a helpless smile. How much is in it? Not much, just 100,000. My face twitches. Heaven help me. I'm a 17-year-old student with a 6-figure allowance. No limit, and it'll be refilled when it runs out. All right, I'll admit the family has businesses that keep the money flowing, but 100,000 for pocket money is genuinely excessive. I let out a quiet sigh. I tuck the card into my pocket without a word. Got it. I'll call you before it runs out. Mom's expression suddenly turns soft. She pulls me into a tight hug. Leo, take good care of yourself while you're there. Eat on time. Sleep on time. You hear me? I pick up my suitcase. I hear you. I'll definitely come back a few pounds heavier. I say it with a smile and head out the door, taking the car to the academy on my own. Every year, the academy sends highly specialized graduates across the country. For students who dream of a career in law enforcement, this place is sacred ground, a destination everyone chases. As the break ends, the academy slowly comes alive with noise and movement. Energy, ambition, and youth fill every corner. It feels like a place where nothing dark belongs. On the rooftop of Block B dormitory, 7th floor, no one has been up here in 2 months. Wind howls across the rooftop, rattling every piece of metal, sheets of corrugated iron clattering, bolts and pipes knocking against each other. The iron door at the top of the stairwell seals this place off completely from the floors below. No one has ever seen what's up here, only that there's a water tower. With the new term starting, the tower will begin its work again, storing and releasing water for students to shower and do laundry. But after more than 2 months without use, combined with a loose valve, there isn't a drop of water left inside the tower. Only small things, bumping and scraping against the metal walls. The sound is faint, but press your ear close enough, and you'd hear something squeaking. Almost certainly, there are rats inside that tower. I stand at the academy entrance. The gatehouse is dedicated, officers on duty. They stand perfectly straight, eyes sharp as hawks. No ordinary school looks like this. The academy has one notable feature: the students range widely in age. Some are 25, some are as young as 15. The older ones can't help feeling a little humbled here. The younger ones naturally carry an air of superiority. But it's still a full academic institution. Most of the curriculum is designed to serve the law enforcement system, but math, language, science, and the rest are all still required. I approach the entrance. A guard immediately extends an arm. "Student, please present your enrollment notice." I pull it from my bag. Even on the first day, parents are not permitted inside. Any student who needs their parents to walk them in would never live it down. The officer checks everything, then waves me through. I smile and say thank you, then step through the gates. I find the admissions office and register my information. After working through all the formalities, I'm finally handed a room key. The conditions here are decent. 3 students per room, each with their own bed. I get to the room first. No roommates yet. I unpack and arrange everything on my own, then quietly scroll through my phone for a while. Before long, the door opens. A young man in his early 20s walks in. Close-cropped hair, shorter than me, but solidly built. He does a double take. "Hey, are you in this room too?" I nod. He looks even more surprised. "So it's true. Students here really do come at any age. You look 17 at most? Just turned 17. No way. Incredible. Genuinely impressive. Hi, I'm Zach from Bahi City. Great to meet you." I smile and shake hands, exchange a few pleasantries. Then the third roommate arrives. Zach's composure slips again, because the person who walks in is also clearly young. He wears glasses, his clothes a little worn. He looks at me and Zach and gives a small smile, though his eyes are a little shy. "Hi, I'm, Dale. I'm Leo. I'm Zach. How old are you, man?" He seems very invested in this question. 19. "Oh, come on. Are you serious?" 3 people in one room, 117, 119, and then there's me at 21. How am I supposed to show my face around you two? Zach beats his chest dramatically. Dale and I both laugh, but Dale keeps glancing over at me, and finally can't hold back. Are you really only 17? I confirm it. He grins. Looks like I came to the right place. This is going to be fun. I glance at him in mild surprise. He has the exact same attitude as me, here for the fun of it. The 3 of us talk for a bit, then decide to check out the cafeteria together. It affects the food quality for the entire semester, not something to take lightly. Fortunately, the cafeteria doesn't disappoint. The food is actually good, at least enough to have Dale and Zach grinning and singing the academy's praises. But when we get back to the dorm after dinner, the good impression takes a hit. No water. Dale is shirtless. There's air conditioning, but he still feels sticky. After waiting a while, he says, "This won't do. Let's go ask the dorm supervisor downstairs when the water's coming back." Zach and I both agree. No shower in this heat. Genuinely miserable. The 3 of us head down only to find a crowd already bombarding the dorm supervisor. The supervisor grabs a megaphone over the noise. "Everyone calm down. I only just got back to campus this evening myself. I've already reported the issue. Looks like the rooftop water tower hasn't been used in too long and something's gone wrong. But it's too late now. The school says a maintenance worker will come fix it tomorrow. We have to wait until tomorrow. We're going to smell like salted fish by then." Exactly. We need water. We need showers. Our roommate Wang has the worst foot odor. If there's no water tonight, we'll all be suffocated by morning. Students keep shouting. The supervisor looks exhausted trying to manage them. Dale sighs. I say, "Let's just go back. We'll make do for tonight." Dale nods. "Guess that's all we can do." Then Zach speaks up out of nowhere. "It's just a water tower. Let's go up and fix it ourselves. I saw some tools for sale in the campus store. Come on, we buy the tools, go up to the roof, fix the tower, and give everyone in the building a proper shower tonight." "Let's do it," Zach says. "I've been sweating all day. I can't just sit around. If we can handle it ourselves, there's no point waiting until tomorrow." So the 3 of us buy the tools, and when no one is watching, we slip up to the top floor. But there's an iron door blocking the way, with a heavy padlock on it. Zach holds the wrench, shirt off, muscles showing. "Break it? We came all the way up here, why wouldn't we? If we leave it to the school, they'll make us wait until tomorrow no matter what." Zach jams the wrench into the lock loop. Click, and it pops open. He pushes open the cobweb-covered iron door. A gust of wind hits us in the face. Refreshing at first, but my nose catches something. I put my arm out and stop Zach and Dale. Something's off. I breathe in slowly. It's a smell of decay. Not overwhelming, but it's there. A moment later, Dale turns and looks at me. "There is something. Probably a dead animal. Could be a rat or a bird that fell up here." I give a small nod. "Let's just go fix the tower. It's unbearably hot up here. Let's move fast. If someone catches us, we'll get in trouble even if we're doing a good thing," Zach says, heading toward the tower. It's large, with a puddle of water around the base. Zach takes one look and shakes his head. "I thought it was something serious." "It's just the valve. Came loose when the water pressure hit it. Fell right off. With the opening exposed, there's not enough pressure to push water through the pipes." "Then let's get it back on. Water will flow in no time," Dale urges. Zach nods with a grin and reaches into the puddle to pick up the valve. But what he doesn't expect, lying right beside the valve, is a ring. "This can't be real gold, can it?" At those words, Dale and I both walk over. In Zach's hand is a ring. Looks like gold. Small, but with a single character engraved on it. "Someone must have dropped it up here by accident. We'll hand it in to the school later," Dale says quietly. Zach looks a little reluctant, but not actually thinking of keeping it. He pockets the ring and moves to screw the valve back on, when a sharp little head squeezes out of the opening, squeaking rapidly. Zach jumps back, disgusted. When did rats get into the water tower? That is disgusting. The water tower supplies the entire dormitory block. The thought of rats in there makes the stomach turn. But as Dale and I step closer, that same smell of decay hits us through the fist-sized valve opening. If it were just rats, why would the smell be that strong? Dale says in disbelief. Something pulls at me. I need to climb that ladder. I pull open the hatch at the top and shine my phone flashlight inside. Lying at the bottom is a body. The stench hits me full force. Zach and Dale below notice the change in my expression and ask in unison what's wrong. "Come up and see for yourselves." I climb down. Dale goes up first. He shines his phone into the dark. When he sees the motionless body inside, surprise flashes across his face, but almost immediately his left hand moves to his chin, a look of deep thought spreading across his face. Zach calls up impatiently. "What are you staring at up there? Get down and let me look." Dale comes down quietly. Zach climbs up, peers inside, and completely loses his composure. Oh my, a body. There's an actual body in the Academy's water tower. Zach looks about as stunned as Columbus discovering a new continent. Dad mentioned before I came that the Academy has its share of unusual people. Case in point, Zach is absolutely one of them. A normal person finding a corpse would be falling apart right now. "Zach?" Mildly surprised for 2 seconds, and then actively trying to climb inside the water tower. I roll my eyes. "What are you doing?" "Get down. We pull the body out first, then examine it." "Dale, get ready. Didn't you say you came here mainly to study forensics? Once we get the body out, it's your time to shine." Dale's eyes light up with excitement. He rubs his hands together. "I won't let anyone down. Truth be told, I'm just as eager to get a proper look. This is a police academy, and the body inside, though hard to make out clearly, is wearing the academy's uniform. It's been there a long time. Killing a student inside a police academy and hiding the body in the water tower for weeks, The killer is exceptionally intelligent. As for whether the victim could have fallen in on their own, no one would believe that. The hatch was sealed shut. If that isn't murder and concealment, what is? Zack braces himself with both arms, ready to drop into the water tower. But the moment he lifts himself up, the iron door swings open again. A figure steps out, takes one look at Zack halfway into the water tower, and his face changes completely. "You three, what do you think you're doing? Get down right now." A man who looks like a school administrator strides over, furious. "It's dark outside. Why aren't you in your rooms? What are you doing on the roof?" Zack explains with a pout. "There's no water in the dorms. The supervisor said it wouldn't get fixed until tomorrow. Turns out it's just the valve. Fell off. Small fix. We were handling it ourselves." The man's expression softens slightly. "If the school said tomorrow, then as students you follow that. But seeing as you meant well, I won't make an issue of it today. The maintenance workers are already here. You three go back to your rooms." "What? My word not good enough. I'm Director Grant Wang, head of school operations. I'm ordering you to leave immediately." I speak up. "Director Wang, there's a body in the water tower." Grant Wang stops. "There's a what?" "A body in the water tower, yes. As the first witnesses to discover the victim, none of us can leave this scene right now. So, Director Wang, the immediate priority is to remove the body from the tower, confirm the victim's identity, and conduct a thorough examination of the scene. Then we proceed to find the killer." I say it all calmly. Zack and Dale are barely holding back smiles. Grant Wang's face shifts. He turns to the maintenance workers. "Gentlemen, please hold on a moment." He climbs the ladder and looks inside. Then he picks up his phone. "Security, send people to Block B rooftop immediately. A body has been found in the water tower." He makes another call. "Principal Sue, it's Grant Wang. A male body has been found on the rooftop of Block B. The victim is wearing our school uniform. This is an extremely serious matter. I need you here immediately. The school moves fast. Security first, then the principal." This man isn't just an ordinary administrator, but I'm more focused on the body. Zack and Dale are both fixed on it too. Zack leans in and whispers, "Leo, what kind of person do you think could do this? Kill someone inside the academy without leaving a single trace?" Dale pushes up his glasses. "And judging by the state of decomposition, combined with the timing of the break ending, do you think the victim might have been killed last semester?" I smile. "How would I know? But we can ask to be involved in the investigation. We are the witnesses, after all. And the fact that we found this on our very first day, doesn't that mean something?" They both look at me. I lower my voice. "It means the victim didn't trust anyone, except us three." Zack and Dale both roll their eyes at the same time. "As future officers, we should be atheists. When you're gone, you're gone. Our job is to find the facts. What does the dead person have to do with it? No, some things are meant to happen." I leave it at that. Security arrives quickly and efficiently removes the body from the tower. The corpse is badly decomposed, organs exposed, face completely unrecognizable from animal activity. Zack goes pale. He mutters under his breath, "This poor guy, dying like that. You think he'll come back as a ghost?" Dale swallows, but his eyes behind those glasses are absolutely gleaming. "I can't help it, guys. I have this overwhelming urge to examine that body. Look at the state of it. For a forensic student, this is an absolute goldmine." I don't respond. I walk straight toward the body. Grant Wang moves to stop me, then stops himself. He wants to see what we find. Dale crouches to examine the body. Zack checks the surrounding area. I observe quietly. Before long, Dale looks up. "Cause of death. Blunt force trauma to the skull. This is not the primary crime scene. The body was moved here after death. Time of death is hard to determine, with rain and sun alternating. Whenever it rained, the body would have been submerged. When the sun came out, everything would dry out again." Zack comes back, holding out the ring. "No sign of the primary crime scene on the rooftop, but based on this, the victim or the killer has the character Ash in their name." I shake my head. "No, the time of death is actually straightforward. It had to be in the last few days of the semester before the break. And the killer, almost certainly a graduating student from last semester. One of the best in every way. After the break begins, the campus goes into full lockdown. Only essential staff are permitted, no students. And the body has been decomposing for a long time. There's no way this happened in the past few days. So it had to be those final days of the semester." Dale's eyes go wide. "Of course. How did I miss that?" A flash of surprise crosses Grant Wang's face. He looks at me. "What's your name?" My eyes stay on the body. "Leo Yi." His gaze sharpens. Like something just clicked. I don't acknowledge it. I reach down and open the victim's clothing, then pull down the trousers. Everyone freezes. Zack lets out a strangled sound. "Where is his—" "Eaten by the rats." I give him a look, then stand. This is almost certainly a revenge killing, and the mutilation after death, almost always a crime of passion. The words barely leave my mouth when a voice comes from behind. "True to the Yi name. Looks like in 3 or 4 years the Academy will be sending another rising star into the world of criminal investigation. The speaker is Principal Sullivan Sue." The moment he appears, Grant Wang rushes over. "Principal Sue, you're here." Sullivan Sue waves it off. He walks to the body, takes one look, and sighs. "You three said this is a revenge killing, that the name contains the character for Ash, and that the victim is most likely a graduate from last semester. Grant Wang, which graduates from last semester had that character in their name?" "Principal Sue, I've seen this ring before. Ash Yang used to wear one exactly like it." Grant Wang says it carefully. Sullivan Sue's expression changes completely. "Say that again?" "He is Ash Yang." I look over. Even the principal is this shaken. This Ash Yang must have been someone extraordinary. "No way! Ash Yang? The Ash Yang who ranked in the top 3 in every subject last semester?" Zach says in disbelief. Sullivan Sue doesn't answer. He raises his voice. Now, contact the city bureau immediately. The academy will form a dedicated investigation team to work alongside them. Have them run the DNA as fast as possible, confirm whether this is Ash Yang, and immediately contact his parents. He's been dead for nearly 2 months. If this really is Ash Yang, his parents should have called the school long ago. I'm thinking the same thing. Wang calls the authorities immediately, then dials Ash Yang's home and puts it on speaker. He keeps his voice casual and warm. Hello, am I speaking with Ash Yang's father? This is Wang, Director of Operations at the Academy. Oh, Director Wang, what can I do for you? I was wondering, is Ash Yang at home right now? There's something at school we'd like to discuss with him. Wang keeps his eyes on the principal as he speaks. Ash Yang's father sounds relaxed. He's not here. Who knows what's going through his head? After graduation, he said he was going to a rural mountain area to teach. Didn't even discuss it with us. But he did mention we'd get to see him in the next couple of days. Everyone exchanges startled looks. Wang presses on. Has he been in contact? Video calls, phone calls? He's in a remote area. No internet, barely any signal. Video calls are out of the question. Even phone calls. Last month he said he'd gone into town just to call us. Then Ash Yang's father seems to sense something. Is something wrong, Director Wang? Has something happened to our son? Wang looks at the principal. Sullivan Sue takes a deep breath and takes the phone. Mr. Yang, this is Principal Sullivan Sue. I need you to confirm something. The person who called you last month, are you certain it was Ash Yang? Of course, though his voice was hoarse. He said he had a cold, sounded very congested. I look at the body on the ground. That was him. And the person who made that call to his father, that was the killer, telling Ash Yang's parents they'd see him in a couple of days, because these are exactly the registration days. The body in the water tower was about to be discovered. Sullivan Sue clears his throat. Nothing has happened, but since we haven't been able to reach Ash Yang, we'd like both of you to come to the academy. There's something very important we need to hand to you in person. But we're in Shanghai, Mr. Yang. You and your wife need to be here in person. This is of the utmost importance for Ash Yang. Sullivan Sue tells a kind lie. Ash Yang's father agrees. The call ends. Sullivan Sue stands in silence for a long moment. Zach and Dale can't hold back. Principal, we're new students this year. Let us be part of the investigation team. We'll find the killer, we promise. Are you willing to tails on me? Leo, are you willing to take part? If you are, I'll let you choose whoever you want for the team. I understand. He almost certainly knows about the cases I've solved, and I'm genuinely curious about this killer. What kind of person could silently eliminate the best student from last year's graduating class, and then impersonate him for 2 full months? All right, the 3 of us. But I don't want too much interference from the bureau. That means complicated procedures and wasted time. The school handles the formalities. The real authority stays with us. The academy has all the equipment we need, doesn't it? I lay out my terms. Wang starts to push back, but Sullivan Sue cuts him off with a smile. Done. I'm putting you 3 in charge. I'll handle the bureau myself. But, Leo, you understand this case can't drag on. Naturally. Good. Security. Take the body to the forensics lab. Have them run the DNA confirmation. On Sullivan Sue's word, the security team wraps the body and carries it away. The 3 of us stand around the body in the forensics lab. Until the DNA results come back, nothing can be confirmed. The ring alone isn't enough to make a positive ID. Dale examines carefully. I observe from the side. Zach, meanwhile, keeps staring at the victim's lower half. Every so often he says something. Leo, do you think he was seeing 2 people at once, and one of them snapped and killed him, then did that to him afterward? He seems fairly convinced of this theory. When neither Dale nor I respond, Zach says with a pout, why is no one answering me? Do you have any idea how ruthless people can be when they're hurt? I wouldn't put anything past someone consumed by that kind of hatred. Before the truth is confirmed, every theory is just a theory. Dale speaks up. Zach pouts. He leans toward me. Hey Leo, is your family seriously loaded? I noticed Principal Sue called you young Master Leo when he arrived. I look back at him. Are you here to solve a case or to gossip? To solve it, obviously, but honestly, I already see the real challenge here. It's not figuring out who the killer is, it's finding proof. Our opponent is a highly intelligent criminal. Someone who could eliminate one of the Academy's best students without leaving a trace. Any evidence they left behind will be extremely rare. Zach seems like someone who doesn't take things seriously, but getting into this academy means he has something. Right now, his read on the situation matches mine exactly. The hardest part isn't identifying the killer, it's proving it. We work from evening into the dead of night. Dale finally gets the results. It's Ash Yang. Leo, you were right. Time of death approximately 60 days ago, skull crushed by a blunt object, then mutilated and hidden in the water tower. I take off my jacket and say quietly, I'm thinking, could what was removed from the body end up being our most important piece of evidence? Dale and Zach both go still. They give a pained smile. That's impossible. It's been 2 months. Would the killer actually preserve it? Just a theory. I smile and leave it there. We open the lab door and find a crowd of people waiting outside. All Academy students. A tall young man steps forward. You're the investigation team Principal Sue appointed. The new intake? Zach steps right up to the front. He lifts his chin. That's us. I'm Mason Wang, 2nd year. You're senior. My team is requesting to join you. Share what you know about the case, so we can solve it faster. His tone sounds reasonable on the surface, but it's an order wrapped in politeness. Zach's expression darkens. Dale pulls the folder close to his chest. Mason Wang sees our silence and continues. Listen, This is the first murder in the Academy's history. The outside world already knows. It's everywhere. For the sake of the school's reputation, know your limits. Don't let this drag on and make things worse. Ridiculous. Who says we can't solve it? Zack fires back. I say you can't, and I mean it. The only reason I'm offering to join is out of respect for Principal Su. Otherwise, I'd be calling for your team to be dissolved. Mason Wang's eyes fill with anger. The guys behind him chime in. We'll give you credit when the case is solved, but you just arrived. You probably don't even know the basic procedures. So agree now. You'll learn from us. Zack's fists tighten. Get lost. The only people who can teach me are professors. Who do you think you are, lecturing us? Mason Wang's eyes go cold. I'm giving you a chance. You sure you're turning it down? One application from us and your team gets dissolved. Zack and Dale can both tell Mason Wang isn't someone ordinary. I hate this kind of thing. I quietly pull Zack behind me and face Mason Wang. Last warning. Move. Mason Wang laughs out loud. I heard this intake has a bunch of so-called geniuses. 17, 18 years old. Sure lives up to the hype. But do you understand? Even here, you follow the rules. Rules? Tell me about them. I smile and ask. Mason Wang is one of the top criminal investigation students in the second year, and his uncle is Raymond Zhao, head of the city bureau. Once he graduates, he walks straight into a position there. For most people, Mason Wang is someone worth respecting. Even Dale and Zack's expressions shift, but in the next second, Mason Wang's arrogant expression vanishes. I put my palm flat against his face and shove his head hard to the side. Mason Wang stumbles back, face red with humiliation. You dare push me? You're Raymond Zhao's nephew, that's it, and you come in here putting on a show. I look at him steadily. Call your uncle. Ask him who Liu Yi is. I turn and walk away with Zack and Dale. They fall in behind me. I can feel their curiosity about who I am. Now they'll understand why a bureau chief means nothing to me. The people behind Mason Wang are seething. Stop right there, they shout. I turn and ask, want to fight? Trust me, the ones getting expelled afterward won't be us. When the situation calls for it, I don't mind using what I have. The Yi name gives me all the confidence I need. Mason Wang pulls himself together and starts thinking hard about who Liu Yi is. The academy has no shortage of students from prominent families. Then something clicks. That serial case from a little over a month ago, when his uncle brought it up, he was furious. A decade-old case he'd been kept in the dark about, and the one who solved it was Liu Yi, the eldest son of the Yi family, his uncle's greatest rival, the Yi family. Mason Wang finally understands. He hurries after us and forces a smile. You're the young master of the Yi family? I glance at him. No answer. I just say to Zack and Dale, let's go. We walk away without looking back. Mason Wang stands there, expression dark, ears burning red. Someone beside him mutters, Mason Wang, are we really just letting them go? Solving this case would count for a lot. Mason Wang turns on them with a glare. Don't say I didn't warn you. From now on, when you see Liu Yi, walk the other way. He's the eldest son of a 3-generation military and law enforcement dynasty in Qingdu. Don't touch that. Everyone goes quiet. We head to the principal's office in the early hours of the morning. Sullivan Su hasn't slept. He stands as we enter. What's the result? Confirmed. The victim is Ash Yang. Time of death approximately 2 months ago. Now we need his social records from that period to narrow down the suspects. Sullivan Su nods and pulls a folder from his drawer. Already prepared. Don't stay up too late. We take the files back to the dorm. Sullivan Su's notes are thorough, covering Ash Yang's roommates, classmates, everyone. Zack reads for a bit and gets a headache. Dale is about the same. Give him a body to examine and he'll go all night. But anything else, and he's yawning within minutes. I sit alone at the desk and go through everything. I focus on Ash Yang's 2 roommates, and his girlfriend, Jess Guo, now a junior officer at the West District Police Station. I close the file and write down 3 names. Jess Guo, Warren Zhu, Eli Wu. I lock away the files and go to sleep. 8 the next morning, I'm woken up. Sullivan Su is at the door, with a girl beside him. We get up. Principal Su, what brings you this early? Introducing a new team member. Iris Lin, also a new student, just like you, just turned 17. The girl in the blue Doraemon t-shirt steps forward and smiles at me. Leo, hi. I heard your name almost every day for the last month of break. Nice to finally see the real thing. I shake her hand lightly and look at Sullivan Su with a curious smile. Principal Su, what's your relationship with Iris Lin? Sullivan Su clears his throat, looking a little awkward. Iris Lin doesn't miss a beat. He's my grandfather. It won't affect anything, she continues. I've already gone through the files. 3 primary suspects. Ash Yang's girlfriend Jess Guo, his roommate Warren Zhu, who had a bad relationship with him, and Eli Wu, who had a secret interest in Jess Guo. Zack and Dale exchange a stunned look. I smile. Iris Lin, welcome to the team. I spent all night working through the same 3 leads. All 3 had close ties to Ash Yang. It looks like they'd be easy to approach for information. But in both my view and Iris Lin's, they're not just starting points. The killer is very likely one of them. Sullivan Su has already slipped away. Iris Lin stays. She glances around the room. It's light out. What's the move? I smile and lay it out. Zack, go with an officer and find Eli Wu. Dale, go find Warren Zhu. Iris Lin, you're with me. We go see Jess Guo. That's probably what Principal Su would most want. Sounds good, Iris Lin says with a small smile. We wash up quickly and leave the dorm together. On the way down, more than a few male students do double takes at Iris Lin. Nobody pays them any mind. At the school gate, Iris Lin and I hail a cab and settle into a coffee shop near the West District station. I call Jess Guo. Officer Guo, I'm Liu Ye from the police academy. You've likely already heard about the murder. I need to verify a few things with you. Jess Guo on the other end doesn't sound surprised. She says fine and hangs up. Iris Lin stirs her coffee. Leo, why hasn't Jess Guo contacted the school on her own? How suspicious do you think she is? I pause. By any normal logic, she's the top suspect. Her boyfriend is dead, and she's still going to work. But do you know why I sent Zach and Dale after the other two? Iris Lin furrows her brow and shakes her head. Simple. I ruled Jess Guo out last night. Whoever swung that blunt object and killed Ash Yang, it wasn't her. Iris Lin looks even more puzzled. In her assessment, Jess Guo is still the most likely suspect. Then Jess Guo appears at the coffee shop entrance. She's here, I say quietly. She walks in, takes off her officer's cap to reveal a sharp, close-cropped hairstyle. She doesn't look well, but she manages a small smile. Hi, I'm Jess Guo. Officer Guo, please sit. After she does, a server sets down a black coffee. She looks at the cup and says with a bitter smile, You even know I drink it black. What don't you know about me? Or maybe you're wondering, am I the most likely killer? I told Iris Lin before you arrived that you're definitely not the killer, I say quietly. Jess Guo stares at me, frozen. Why? I had the most access to him. I had the most reason to. Why rule me out? She clenches her jaw. From everything I've seen, your relationship was solid. Ash Yang only ever had you, and the killer is male. Unless you can produce a convincing male voice, I don't believe it was you. Iris Lin frowns beside me. As a criminal investigation student, ruling out a suspect so definitively doesn't sit right with her. But what surprises her even more, Jess Guo's tears start falling. No, even if I didn't kill him, he died because of me. Leo, I've heard of you. I never expected you'd be the one coming to find me. With your mind, you shouldn't be wasting time on me. I narrow my eyes and ask almost without hesitation. So you also think the killer is Warren Zhu or Eli Wu? Iris Lin follows up. Has Eli Wu always had feelings for you in secret? The bitterness on Jess Guo's face deepens. What if I told you both Warren Zhu and Eli Wu have been pursuing me? Of course we believe you. You carry yourself with the strength of an officer, and you're still striking at the same time. And you were one of the top students from last year's graduating class. Yes, last year had many outstanding students. Ash Yang, Li Huan, Zhao Yurui, even the talented Warren Zhu was only second tier by comparison. But there's something neither of us expected. Ash Yang wasn't the only one who disappeared this summer. Iris Lin and I both shift expressions at the same time. Jess Guo pulls out her phone. It shows call logs to Ash Yang, Warren Zhu, and Eli Wu, over 100 calls to each. That means Ash Yang wasn't the only one who went missing this summer. Warren Zhu and Eli Wu have also vanished. I call Zach immediately. Did you find Warren Zhu? Don't even ask, Leo. I've got a bad feeling. Warren Zhu's parents say he went to a remote mountain area to teach after graduation, just like Ash Yang. My expression goes still. I say quietly, got it, and stare at the phone. Sure enough, Dale calls next. Before he can speak, I ask first, did Eli Wu go to teach in the mountains too? Yes. How did you know? Just heard. My eyes go back to Jess Guo. She looks completely hollow, mouth moving over and over. They're dead. All of them. They're really all dead. Iris Lin and I exchange a look. We both feel the urgency. I lean in. Officer Guo, what do you actually know? Did Warren Zhu and Eli Wu disappear at the same time as Ash Yang? Jess Guo's face is pale. Yes, I found out about Warren Zhu a month ago. Then Eli Wu 2 weeks ago. I genuinely believed they'd gone. Not until last night when the school told me Ash Yang was dead did everything click. Who told you they went to teach? I called all three of them almost every day. When something felt wrong, I started calling their families. Every family said the same thing. Remote mountains. Unreachable. I tried to find them in Qingdu. Board game cafes, gaming centers. I even used my access to check hotel records. Nothing. No registration anywhere in the country. Now that Ash Yang has turned up, Warren Zhu and Eli Wu must be close behind. Jess Guo goes quiet. Iris Lin and I press forward. Did the three of them, in room 314, ever have a serious conflict with anyone? I don't know. I genuinely don't. No one wants to find the killer more than I do. Those three, my boyfriend and my two closest friends. Jess Guo's fists tighten. I frown. Wait. From what I understand, Warren Zhu and Ash Yang didn't get along. That's true. Ash Yang and Warren Zhu clashed. Same with Eli Wu. But when something real happened, those three trusted each other more than anyone. That I believe. Every school has people like this. They rub each other the wrong way on a regular basis, but the moment someone goes after one of them, they close ranks tighter than anyone. All right, Officer Guo, we won't take up any more of your time. I have what I need. Jess Guo takes a long breath and stands. She's almost out the door when she turns back. Find them as soon as you can. Once they're all found, I'll go see them. Then she's gone. Iris Lin watches her leave. She's hiding something. She is, but it's probably not related to the case, I say lightly. Iris Lin thinks for a moment, then says quietly, the dynamic between Jess Guo and those three is more complicated than it seems. Even if she misses Ash Yang, was it really necessary to call Warren Zhu and Eli Wu hundreds of times? I smile and say nothing more. We head back together. In my mind, Warren Zhu and Eli Wu were the prime suspects. But the case has gone in a direction no one expected. Anyone would be caught off guard by this. In the car, Iris Lin's expression is serious. I glance at her. What's wrong? Feeling thrown off? Not quite. I'm just thinking, what kind of person could take out three exceptional students like that? And where are Warren Zhu and Eli Wu's bodies? I don't pause. At the school. Iris Lin looks up. The school has people everywhere right now. After Ash Yang, the administration launched a full sweep. If their bodies were there, they should have been found by now. What do you think? Besides the water tower, where else on campus could a body be hidden? Iris Lin furrows her brow, turns it over and over, and can't come up with anything. The car goes quiet. Then, both Iris Lin's phone and mine receive a notification from the school's official account. Today is the second day of the new semester. It is also the Academy's annual tree planting day. All students are asked to plant their tree on the back hill before 6 this evening. Tree planting is a school tradition. Every new student plants a sapling on the back hill. 4 years later, the trees have grown, and so have they, from students into officers who can hold their own. Iris Lin stares at the notification. She looks pained. Who has the heart to plant a tree right now? Then she stops mid-sentence and snaps her eyes to me. But I'm already shouting at the driver. Step on it. We need to reach the back hill of the police academy in 10 minutes. The cab pulls up to the academy's back gate quickly. As Iris Lin and I get out, we see students gathering in the back courtyard. Despite the murder, life on campus goes on. I spot Grant Wang organizing the activity and run over. Director Wang, hold the tree planting for now. Grant Wang frowns. Weren't you investigating Ash Yang's case? What are you doing here? Director Wang, Warren Ju and Eli Wu are unaccounted for. Their families say they went to teach in the mountains, just like Ash Yang. We now believe Warren Ju and Eli Wu have also been killed. Their bodies are likely hidden in these trees. Grant Wang stares at me in disbelief. What are you talking about? Ash Yang is the only victim. How could Warren Ju and Eli Wu be dead too? Whether you believe me or not, Director Wang, to prevent the scene from being disturbed, the activity has to be suspended. Grant Wang thinks for a moment. All right, get into the tree line. I'll have security assist you. Iris Lin and I nod and run toward the trees. I send a message to Dale and Zach to come to the back hill the moment they return. Every tree here represents a student. It's a tradition established when the current principal took office. So even though there are many trees on the back hill, we go straight to the student planting area. The killer told Ash Yang's parents they'd see him in a couple of days. I originally assumed that referred to Ash Yang. Now I think that line included Warren Ju and Eli Wu too. The killer meant, in a couple of days, all three of their families would be finding out the truth. If that's correct, Warren Ju and Eli Wu's bodies are most likely at their own trees. As we move deeper into the planting area, a faint smell of decay drifts on the wind. Not strong, but Iris Lin and I both know the bodies are ahead. We reach the 3 trees planted side by side. Ash Yang's, Warren Ju's, Eli Wu's. Sure enough, 2 decomposed bodies hang from the branches. Crows perch on them, heads dipping. We step closer. The crows scatter with a harsh cry. They really are here, Iris Lin says quietly. I say nothing. I climb Warren Ju's tree slowly. When I reach the body, the first thing I notice is the mouth is open. No tongue. The jaw is propped open with a nail. That single image tells me everything. Warren Ju was brought here while still alive, hung from the tree. To stop him from crying out, the killer cut out his tongue and used a nail to keep the jaw from closing. Down below, Iris Lin isn't idle. She's searching the ground. She finds something quickly. There are blood pools beneath both trees. I examine the rest of Warren Ju's body from my position in the tree. I pull down his trousers. My eyes go still. If Zach were here, he'd probably say it again. I climb to Eli Wu's tree. Same. No tongue. Jaw propped with a nail. And the same mutilation. Just as I thought, I say. Iris Lin doesn't look away. For students at the police academy, a case is a case. Gender is irrelevant. But she can't see clearly from below, so she asks, same as Ash Yang? Same, but different. Ash Yang's body, aside from the mutilation, wasn't deliberately damaged anywhere else. Warren Ju and Eli Wu are different. Besides the mutilation, they're missing their tongues. The killer was afraid they'd be heard, I say. Iris Lin follows the thought. There's a large amount of dried blood on the ground below. The killer didn't end it quickly. Cut the tongue, then opened the veins, bled them almost completely dry. Ash Yang, Warren Ju, Eli Wu, roommates who clashed but stood up for each other when it counted. The first body was Ash Yang. These two don't need DNA confirmation. They're absolutely Warren Ju and Eli Wu. None of them were bullies. So what on earth did they do to deserve this? And there's still one question that matters most. Why was Ash Yang in the dormitory water tower, while Warren Ju and Eli Wu are out here in the trees? The killer had no practical reason to do it differently. I say it quietly, brow creased tight. When Warren Ju and Eli Wu's bodies are carried out of the trees, the entire academy erupts. Ash Yang's death had already set the school buzzing, and outside media had picked up the story. The school managed to keep it contained, but now with 2 more bodies, it's beyond what the academy can manage. Sullivan Sue calls the 4 of us to his office. His face is more serious than I've ever seen it. The death toll is now 3. This is the most serious event in the history of this institution. The City Bureau has issued a directive. They are taking full control of this case. The academy will cooperate fully, and I will be submitting my resignation to the board today. Dale and Zach look horrified. Principal Sue, what does this have to do with you? This is a major criminal case that occurred under my watch. He is the highest authority in this school. There's no other way. I sigh too. Iris Lin's face is full of resistance, but she doesn't want to make things harder for her grandfather. Grandpa, don't worry. Even without direct investigative authority, we will find the killer. Sullivan Sue's eyes move across each of us. He smiles. I believe in you. A case at this school, solved by students of this school. That's how you restore the name. That's the best thing you can do for the victims. Go. Keep going. Head at his office. Iris Lin's eyes are red. Don't be upset. Principal Sue might still come back, I say quietly. Iris Lynn bites her lip. Everything has moved so fast these past 2 days, faster than any of us were ready for, and now we've even lost direct investigative authority. Leo, tell me what we do now. Right now, we have only a few confirmed leads. The calls made to all 3 families came from the same voice, which means the suspect is likely male. Second, don't change the direction. This case is still deeply tied to emotional motive. Third, and most importantly, we have to understand why Ash Yang was hidden in the water tower, while Warren Ju and Eli Wu were left in the trees. Iris suddenly understands. You're right, the direction stays the same. The locations where the 3 bodies were hidden, that has to be significant. To understand the difference between the 3 bodies, we need to examine them again. Dale, before the city bureau takes full control, we have to move fast. The moment I finish, all 4 of us head straight to the forensics lab, but at the door, we find officers already on guard. You 4, stop. What's your business? They block us. Dale looks exasperated. They got here first. It's fine. If it comes to it, we go straight through. I turn to the officers. We are students from the police academy, originally assigned to the Ash Yang case. We have critical information to share with you. The officers look skeptical. I pull out my student ID. They take one look, and their expressions change completely. Young Master Leo, make way everyone. Let young Master Leo and his classmates through. Zack and Dale are caught off guard by my identity again. They watch the officers step aside. They can't hold back. Leo, what exactly does your dad do? He's in law enforcement. And your grandfather? I turn around, smiling strangely. He runs in military academy circles. No way. One in law enforcement, one in the military. Don't tell me your mom and grandma are just as impressive. Nothing worth hiding. My mom is one of the country's top forensic scientists. My grandma is nearly retired but still holds the title of criminal investigation expert. After hearing all that, Zack and Dale both go completely blank. After a long pause, one thought finally surfaces. This entire family is just not human. I say nothing more. I push open the lab door and walk in. The moment I'm inside, I see a familiar figure bent over the 3 bodies. A smile pulls at my lips before I can stop it. Dale stares open-mouthed, then grabs Zack's arm. Oh my, I'm seeing my idol. Zack, pinch me. Am I dreaming? Zack smacks him on the back of the head. What is wrong with you? There's no celebrity here. It's just a woman doing an autopsy. You idiot. Look at who's doing the autopsy. She's a legend in forensics, one of the top forensic professors in the country. Before Dale can finish, I walk up beside the woman and call out with a grin. Mom, you're here and you didn't warn me? I genuinely didn't expect Mom to be with the Bureau's forensic team. She looks at me. Surprised? Unexpected? Very surprised, very unexpected. But now that I think about it, I should have seen it coming. The Academy's founding honorary principal is Grandpa. Dad graduated from here, and I'm the lead investigator on this case. Of course you'd show up. Mom laughs and walks over. Always the sharp one. I thought I'd have to wait until a holiday to see you. Never imagined something this big would happen. While we talk, Dale finally can't hold himself back. He steps forward, practically glowing with admiration. Professor Sue, I'm Dale, Leo's classmate, forensic student. I've admired you for so long, I can't believe I'm actually meeting you. Well, looks like I've got a fan. Then tell me, does Leo take after me? Mom asks with obvious delight. Dale nods without a second's hesitation. Absolutely, the resemblance is striking. All right, let's get to work. Mom, you've been at it a while. What have you found? I bring us back to the point. Mom picks up a file from the table. This is the autopsy report you submitted to Principal Sue. The main examiner was this young man here, I take it? She looks at Dale. Go over it again, carefully. Forensics demands precision. This report missed something important. Dale goes still. Zack reacts fast. He kicks Dale in the shin. Why are you just standing there? This is the best learning opportunity you'll ever get. Professor Sue is giving you a chance. Thank you, Professor Sue. Dale quickly changes into his lab coat and begins re-examining Ash Yang's body with full focus. Iris, Zack, and I stand to the side and wait. Before long, Iris says quietly, Leo, I really envy you. What's there to envy? Not your family background. I envy you having a mom like her. The way she speaks, never harsh. And no matter what situation she's in, she puts you at the center of it. That's what I envy most. I understand. Iris's mother has probably always been hard on her. In your eyes, Mom is wonderful. But in my dad's words, a soft mother raises a spoiled child. I tease. Iris smiles quietly and says nothing more. We wait. After a while, when Dale finishes re-examining Ash Yang's body, his expression shifts. Zack moves to ask if he found something. I hold him back. We wait quietly as Dale moves on to Warren Ju and Eli Wu. After another long stretch, Dale sets everything down and walks to Mom first. He gives a slight bow. Professor Sue, thank you for guiding me. I won't make this kind of basic mistake again. The 3 of us come closer. Mom smiles. Then tell us, what did you miss? I missed the condition of their internal organs. All 3 bodies show signs of poisoning, chronic poisoning. Even without the murders, the accumulated toxins would have killed them within a year or 2. Dale's words bring a new lead into focus. Before they were murdered, all 3 had been slowly poisoned over an extended period. What kind of poison? I ask. All 3 had high levels of chloramphenicol. It's an antibiotic, typically used to treat typhoid. But with prolonged exposure, it destroys the digestive system, nervous system, blood-forming organs, and liver. In other words, if they'd kept being exposed, their bodies would have deteriorated until death. Iris's expression fills with shock. Students all eat at the cafeteria. There's no other common source. The water supply is also possible, Zach says. I shake my head. Not the water. Only the 3 men in room 314 were poisoned. If it's the cafeteria, why did no one else show any symptoms? Zach asks. That's exactly what we need to find out. Start with the cafeteria. Question everyone, especially anything unusual about how Ash Yang's group ate compared to other students. Then what are we waiting for? Let's get to the cafeteria before the officers do. Zach pushes, but I don't move. I think for a moment. If someone was already poisoning them, why bother with the killing? The person who poisoned them may not be the real killer. My words land like a bucket of cold water on everyone. Right, even if we find the poisoner, that doesn't prove they're the one who actually killed them. Mom stays behind in the lab. Dale is reluctant to leave. He wants to soak up everything he can. I let him stay. Mom's reputation is what it is. Every forensic student would jump at the chance to learn from her. Zach, for reasons unknown, sees Dale staying and suddenly decides he wants to stay too. Mom is actually quite pleased. 2 extra sets of hands. She keeps them both. Iris and I leave the lab. The officers nod with a smile. We smile back and pick up the pace toward our next lead. Director Grant Wang looks surprised to see us, but when he sees who it is, he smiles. What can I do for you two? Director Wang, we have some questions about the cafeteria. That falls under your oversight, right? Grant Wang nods. The cafeteria is my responsibility. Go ahead. What do you need to know? Things have been absolutely chaotic around here. I want to ask, were there any special arrangements for certain students' meals? Specifically, did Ash Yang's group eat anything different from the rest of the students? Grant Wang shakes his head immediately. The academy doesn't make special arrangements for individual students, and I've never noticed any student receiving better or worse food than anyone else. I try another angle. Is the cafeteria run by an outside contractor? It is, but even so, what you're describing couldn't happen there. I decide there's no point pressing further. Whether Grant Wang is telling the truth or not, there's no reason for him to cover anything up. He probably genuinely doesn't know. We don't push further. Iris and I say goodbye and walk out. She frowns. Are we really going straight to the cafeteria? Won't that tip them off? Did you forget? We still have someone who can give us information. I smile. Iris catches on almost immediately. Right, Jess Guo. She was so close to Ash and the others. She's bound to know something. So we leave the academy again and meet Jess at the same coffee shop. Even though we've lost direct investigative authority, Jess's attitude hasn't changed. The moment she sits down, she asks, "You have a new lead, don't you?" I get straight to it. You've probably heard that Warren Zhu and Eli Wu's bodies have been found. Today I'm here about the poisoning. Jess looks confused. Poisoning? The latest autopsy shows all 3 were being poisoned over an extended period. We believe it's food related. The cafeteria is the only common food source at the academy. You were closest to them. You must know something. The moment I finish, Jess's expression shifts sharply. It's gone almost immediately, but my eyes caught it. It leaves me unsettled. Then Jess speaks. Are you certain the cafeteria is the only possibility? Iris and I both nod. If that's the case, there's only one person who could have done it. A young cafeteria worker, Frank, early 20s. He's a cousin of the contractor who runs the cafeteria. Young as he is, he has a calculating streak. Every time he was on serving duty, the portions were noticeably small. Ash Yang got into an argument with him over it. Warren Zhu and Eli Wu couldn't let it go either. They cornered him and beat him up. After that, every time Frank saw them, he was unusually friendly, always slipping them extra dishes he'd set aside. At first, Ash and the others didn't trust it, but gradually they got used to it. For a while, Frank was actually on quite good terms with them. Jess finishes. I smile. You always have so much more to offer. Almost certainly, the poisoner is Frank. All right, Jess, we won't keep you. We need to get back. Jess nods. She's about to leave, but she stops again. I called her back. Jess, did you often eat with Ash and the others? I ask without warning. She turns. Her face is calm. Often, but not every day. Don't worry. I'll go get myself checked tomorrow. Take care of yourself. I smile. Jess leaves. Iris watches her go and says again what she said the first time they met. Something about her is always off. I smile again and say nothing. I watch Jess walk away and quietly make a decision. After the brief meeting with Jess, Iris and I return to the academy. The campus is now swarming with officers, all sent from the city bureau to handle the triple murder. The academy is a training ground for the entire law enforcement system. 3 deaths here. Not just the city bureau, but even my father Marcus had to take notice. Iris and I were heading straight for the cafeteria when we run into a middle-aged couple in the corridor. Their faces are heavy with grief. Iris and I exchange a look. One of the 3 victims' parents. I step forward. Hello, my name is Leo Yi. I was the student investigator assigned to the Ash Yang, Warren Zhu, and Eli Wu case. May I ask who you are? We're Ash Yang's parents. Is there something you need? His father says, but his mother looks us over and says something that catches me off guard. Is this academy really this careless? How old are you two? How can children be investigating something like this? We are young, ma'am, but every lead the bureau is currently working on came from us. The reason we stopped you is simple. We need to know what was said in that phone call. Without question, the person who called all 3 families was the killer. Just the usual caring things. How tough the teaching was, telling us to take care of ourselves. That's mostly what we remember. I nod. Did you record it? What date was the call? How long did you talk? Only that it was the 21st of last month. The call lasted nearly an hour. We all believed it was really Ash. The voice had a heavy cold, thick, congested, but the way of speaking exactly like him. Understood. Please take care of yourselves. I don't press Ash's parents further. We leave quietly. Iris glances at me. Cafeteria now? Not yet. Let's talk to Warren Ju's and Eli Wu's parents first. We track them down. All three families are temporarily staying in the school's guest rooms. In terms of background, Ash Yang's family is the wealthiest. His father is a successful businessman worth over 100 million. The most humble background belongs to Warren Ju, a simple farming family, honest and plain. Iris and I ask the same questions of each family, any recordings, how long the call lasted, and the exact date. Every answer is the same. The call came on the 21st of last month. The voice was male, heavy with a cold, thick, congested, minimum call length half an hour. Looks like we're getting close to the real killer, aren't we? As we step out of Eli Wu's parents' room, Iris finally lets herself smile. Should be soon. Now it's about finding the proof. I smile softly too. Then Zach and Dale come sprinting toward us. Leo, Iris, the officers just arrested a cafeteria worker. Intentional homicide. They're about to take him to the bureau. They're both out of breath. My brow furrows immediately. Who leaked the information? Mom would never. From the moment we found out about the poisoning, she would have kept it contained. Apparently it was Director Wang. After you two asked him about the cafeteria, he went straight to the officers. Apparently when they heard it was you asking about the cafeteria, they launched an immediate investigation into cafeteria staff. I can't help a cold laugh. Raymond Zhao's people, always quick to jump at any opportunity. I was interested in Frank, but if they've taken him, let them have him. Don't blame me when it blows up in their faces. I turn and walk back. Iris falls in right behind me and asks quietly, "You're not going to watch? What's there to see? Frank is the poisoner. He's not getting away. Getting arrested is exactly what he deserves." "But Iris, why do you keep following me?" Iris blinks. "To investigate the case." "What case? We've been running on empty for 2 days. We need to actually rest." "Of course." "Iris, if the girls' dorm isn't comfortable enough, you're more than welcome in mine." She takes one look at my grin and rolls her eyes and walks off. Dream on. I had been genuinely buried in this case for 2 solid days. Iris assumed I was just saying I'd rest. What she didn't expect, I actually sleep straight through until dark. Iris had stopped by at some point and already left the boys' dorm. I stretch lazily and notice something on the desk. I look closer. A note. "Saw you hadn't eaten. Got you something. Don't thank me." The handwriting is neat and delicate, clearly a girl's. I smile, open the box. Still warm. I eat happily. A full stomach for a full night's work. Outside it's completely dark. Zach and Dale are both out. I leave alone. I leave the academy and flag down a cab at the gate. I give the driver an address. Phoenix residence. When we arrive, I move as if I've been here before, straight to building 3, all the way up to the 12th floor. I knock at one of the doors. No answer. I pull something from my pocket. 2 or 3 seconds. The door opens. I step inside. The air carries a faint sweetness. Everything arranged the way a woman would. No one would expect me to be at Jess Guo's apartment on a night like this. The place looks unremarkable at first, but I'm not in a hurry. Something about meeting Jess during the day has left me unsettled in ways I can't quite name. In my original assessment, Jess was the least likely suspect, but least likely doesn't mean 0. I never fully remove anyone connected to a case from the suspect list. Coming here while she's out, I want to see if there's anything this apartment can tell me. I walk through the living room first, then into the bedroom. Same minimal style, but there's an oversized wardrobe. I stare at it, genuinely curious. From everything I know about Jess, during her student years, she was easygoing, never particularly invested in clothes, shoes, or cosmetics. A wardrobe this size isn't something she needs. It makes the room feel cramped, and that doesn't fit her at all. I walk slowly toward it. I pull the door open gently. Her clothes hang inside, mostly black and white shirts, casual wear. I take it in and find nothing unusual. I'm about to close it when something stops me. There's a smell in the wardrobe. I push the clothes aside one by one. Sandalwood. As the clothes part, the scent grows stronger. I look carefully. Behind the row of clothes, there's a hidden compartment. I open it immediately. What's inside makes my chest tighten. 2 electric candles glow faintly. The sandalwood scent comes from a small incense burner. The burner is filled with accumulated ash. At least a month or two's worth. I reach into the ash, but my eyes lock onto the 2 photographs hanging in the compartment. 2 young men, early 20s, faces lit with the easy confidence of youth. These are the 2 men found hanging in the trees, Eli Wu and Warren Ju. But with their photos here, why is Ash Yang missing? This is Jess Guo's home. If she's mourning someone, Ash Yang should be the first one she'd mourn. So why are only Warren Ju and Eli Wu here? Do friends really light incense for each other every day like this? I'm not dismissing friendship, but this kind of daily ritual for friends is almost unheard of. I feel as though I've just lifted a second layer from this case. I've been treating Ash Yang, Warren Ju, and Eli Wu as one unit this entire time, and only when Warren and Eli's bodies were found did the idea of separating them first cross my mind. But that was just a thought. I hadn't acted on it. Now, standing here looking at who Jess chose to mourn, I realize I finally met my match. The case of Ash Yang must be separated from the case of Warren Ju and Eli Wu. If I keep treating these 3 deaths as one case, I may never find the truth. I stare at the 2 photographs in the hidden compartment, thinking, as Ash Yang's girlfriend, why hasn't Jess mourned him? Is Ash Yang not dead? That's impossible. The autopsy confirmed it was Ash. He's dead. The body was barely recognizable. Could it be that whoever killed Warren Ju and Eli Wu, and whoever killed Ash Yang, are two different people? Jess Guo, congratulations. You're back at the top of the list. I close the hidden compartment gently and arrange the clothes exactly as they were. Once I'm certain nothing looks disturbed, I check the time. Almost 9. Jess is probably almost off work. I check the apartment carefully for any surveillance devices. Finding none, I open the door and leave. About 15 minutes later, Jess comes home. She turns on the lights, takes off her uniform, opens the wardrobe, and parts the clothes. She lights the sandalwood incense. Thin smoke curls upward. Jess stands perfectly still. No words, no movement. No one knows she does this every single day. An hour later, she gives the photographs a small bow and says goodnight. The night passes as if nothing happened. On my way back to the academy, Dale calls. Leo, where are you? The room is empty. It was stuffy at school. I went for a walk. What's up? Professor Sue and I did a deeper examination of all 3 bodies. New findings. Get back here. I tell the driver to hurry and head straight to the lab. Dale is visibly excited. You were right. Ash Yang's time of death is different from Warren Ju's and Eli Wu's. Warren and Eli died first. Ash Yang was last. Of course. Can you determine the gap? Exact figures are difficult, but the difference in death times is within 5 days. Mom adds to that. I nod and glance around the lab. Where's Iris? She hasn't come by. I just called her. She's apparently out somewhere too. I don't ask further. I pull Mom aside. Mom, you're a woman. Help me understand something about another woman. Her boyfriend dies, and she doesn't mourn him, but she mourns his 2 close friends. Why? Mom's brow furrows. You're saying Jess hasn't been mourning Ash Yang, but she has been mourning Warren Ju and Eli Wu? Yes, Mom. You understand a woman's mind better than I do. Mom lowers her head and thinks. The longer she thinks, the more she shakes her head. It's only been 3 days since she found out Ash was dead. Shouldn't she still be in grief? Why would she be thinking about ritual mourning? She's been doing it for 1 to 2 months. Mom's expression shifts completely. 1 to 2 months of mourning. If she's been doing that, doesn't that make her the prime suspect? Yes, but the caller was male. Jess was one of the top students from last year's graduating class. Outstanding criminal investigation instincts, strong combat ability, even some knowledge of forensics. A well-rounded student. I'm wondering, can she disguise her voice? Mom doesn't know how to answer. Part of her doesn't want to believe it, because she met Jess today. Jess came to see the 3 victims. Mom had genuinely taken a liking to her, especially learning how accomplished she was. But everything now is pointing in the same direction. Jess's suspicion is growing. Aside from the voice mismatch, Jess has every other condition for this crime. She was almost certainly the person all 3 of them trusted most, and she has the ability to eliminate them without leaving a trace. Mom finally looks up. Ash Yang was never the one she truly loved. The person she really cared about was either Warren Ju or Eli Wu. I even suspect she may have hated Ash Yang. Otherwise, none of this makes sense. Women understand women in a way that goes beyond logic. I take Mom's reading as one more data point. I didn't expect Iris, who had been absent this whole time, to burst in at exactly this moment. She doesn't knock. She runs straight in, breathless. Leo, I found something major. Ash Yang was sent abroad for a month last semester for advanced studies. When he came back, Jess may have been pregnant. I walk straight over to her. Where did this come from? A girl from the previous year who couldn't stand Jess. We've been investigating their social circle, so I looked in the opposite direction. And it gets better. While Ash was abroad, Jess was absent from the academy one evening. It was Eli Wu's birthday, and both the other guys from room 314 were also gone that night. 2 weeks after Ash came back, Jess took a week of leave. 5 days after that leave ended, the academy's break began. I start piecing together Iris's findings. Jess may have been pregnant. All 3 were absent on Eli's birthday. After Ash returned, Jess took leave. If the pregnancy was real, that week was likely to deal with it. If she dealt with it, it means Ash found out. Which raises the question, during the month Ash was away, did the relationship between Jess and either Warren or Eli shift from friendship into something more? When Ash found out, consumed by rage, he killed Warren and Eli. And when Jess discovered what he'd done, she killed Ash. If all of this holds, then Jess is terrifying. Because for the past 1 to 2 months, everything has been a performance. Her phone records are carefully managed, calling Warren, Eli, and Ash. Every call rings for at least 10 seconds. And the most baffling thing, Jess never reported Warren and Eli missing or tried to recover their bodies. Was she afraid that doing so would expose her role in Ash's death? Theories keep surfacing in my mind one after another, but no one expected an officer to push open the lab door right at that moment, voice buzzing with excitement. Professor Sue, young Master Leo, the real killer has been found. It's the cafeteria worker Frank. The city bureau just called. Frank has confessed. Frank confessed. Everyone in the lab exchanges looks of disbelief. In their minds, the actual killer cannot possibly be that cafeteria worker. His motive for poisoning, unless he was afraid they'd graduate before the toxins could kill them. But did Frank have the capability to murder 3 highly trained students in one sweep? I don't believe it. From the moment I left Jess's apartment, I'd already concluded there are 2 killers. Why would Frank confess? The officer leaves. Iris immediately says, "This is impossible. Frank is not the killer. He's an indirect killer at most. But the real one isn't him. Looks like the city bureau is desperate to demonstrate results to the public. Unless something changes, tomorrow morning every paper in the city will be running Frank's arrest. They'll even call a press conference. This case has a lot of eyes on it," Mom says. A cold smile pulls at my mouth. "Let Raymond Zhao play his game. We have 1 night left. If he dares hold that press conference tomorrow, and I find my opening, then Raymond Zhao can forget about ever moving up in his career. I'm with you on that, but we may not even have 12 hours left. I say nothing. I stare at the 3 bodies for a moment. Then I speak. Iris, take me to the girl you spoke to earlier. Iris doesn't know what I'm after, but she nods, and we head out quickly, taking Mom's car. We arrive at an apartment building in Eastern Kingdo. Iris makes a call. Before long, a girl comes down. She gets in and looks at us curiously. What else do you need? I already told you everything I know. The one with questions is me, I say. There are a few things I'd like you to help clarify. I smile. She looks me over. All right. Since you're cute enough to make it worth my while, I'll tell you everything. I don't let that land. What made you think Jess was pregnant at the time? I was in the same class as her. Before she took leave, she kept dry heaving, and then she took 7 days off all at once. That's what made me suspicious. I nod. Good. How did you establish Jess's relationship with Warren and Eli? It was never really a secret. A lot of people knew at the time, because the next day Jess was arguing with Warren and Eli, asking over and over who it was. Something clicks further into place. I smile. Last question. What's your honest read on Jess? Jess, honestly, I can't stand her. She always seemed above everyone else, but I can't deny her ability. She's genuinely gifted. A natural in criminal investigation. Back in school, every time they ran a mock case, 7 out of 10 times, she was the one who found the killer. So if it were up to you, if Jess decided to commit a crime, how well do you think she could pull it off? I smile. No one would ever suspect her, and even if they did, they'd dismiss it almost immediately. I stop there. Good. Thank you for your time. We'll take you to dinner sometime. She smiles and nods, but just before she gets out, she turns. Actually, forget the dinner. Can I go see Ash Yang? I can promise you may get to see him tomorrow. All right, I'll wait. She gets out. For Iris, she doesn't feel like we got much out of that conversation, but reading my face, she sees something there. Confidence. You have a new idea, don't you? Iris asks. I'm completely certain Jess Guo killed Ash Yang, and Warren Zhu and Eli Wu, most likely Ash killed them, I say. Iris doesn't rush to ask why. She works through it herself. Jess was with Warren and Eli on the night of Eli's birthday. Then she became pregnant, and Ash found out. The files show Ash was not only exceptional, but deeply proud. He would never have accepted that. So he killed Warren and Eli. But by then, Jess's feelings for Warren or Eli may have already grown into something deeper. So in her grief, she set a trap and killed Ash, and fabricated everything. I don't answer her. Something nags at me, something I've overlooked. My mind keeps turning. Then a passage comes to me, a classical essay about a master of vocal mimicry performing for a banquet of guests. Many students would recognize it. It's called ventriloquism. And tonight, when I was at Jess's apartment, there was a piece of calligraphy on the wall. It was that exact passage. And the name signed at the bottom, also Guo. That piece of brushwork has just become the most important thing I've seen. It can't be used as evidence, but it's what makes me absolutely certain Jess is the killer. Let's go back to the lab. Lindsay looks at me. Don't tell me you're looking for more on the bodies. Besides the bodies, we don't have time to find anything else. Someone as gifted as Jess wouldn't leave us evidence. But Jess is smart, and so was Ash. Unless he died instantly from that first blow, he would have left something behind. One blow can kill. But what if Ash didn't die immediately? He may have struggled. And the primary crime scene, we've never found it. Where is it? Maybe it's exactly where no one would think to look. The location that's already been ruled out. Where is it? The rooftop. The place Zach ruled out. Iris and I move back to the academy as fast as we can and go straight to the lab. Mom sees us walk in. Find anything? I shake my head. Nothing yet. But Jess Guo is confirmed involved. Mom, what are you working on? Running a more thorough examination, especially the fingernails and mouth. Zach, go prepare the luminol solution. Zach's eyes light up. You found the primary crime scene? Not confirmed, but I want to use luminol on the rooftop and see if we can reconstruct what happened there. See if the rooftop really is the primary scene. Luminol isn't hard to prepare, but the glow it produces when it reacts with blood is extremely faint. It needs darkness or complete blackout conditions. It's already deep into the night. Zach and Dale get to work preparing the solution immediately. When it's ready, Dale stays behind to assist Mom. I take Zach and Iris to the rooftop of Block B. The prepared solution is limited. There's no way to make a large amount this fast. The 3 of us reach the roof. Zach and Iris look at me, waiting to be told where to start. I scan the space. Jess has combat ability, but physically carrying a body into the water tower seems unlikely. If she wanted Ash to die without any chance to react, right past this iron door is the best place to do it. Zach, spray the luminol in a straight line from the iron door to the water tower. Zach nods and begins spraying slowly along the line I indicated. As long as blood was ever on this surface, no matter how thoroughly cleaned, no matter how long ago, it will show. The solution creeps toward the water tower. Zach hasn't even reached it yet when the ground begins to glow with faint blue-white light. A patch of luminescence spreads and grows. I pull out my phone and start documenting. Then, a pair of footprints appears in silver light. Iris, what size shoes did Ash Yang wear? Around a size 43. And these? Can't be more than 37. As Iris says it, her face floods with pure joy. A size 37 footprint. An extraordinary piece of evidence. Feet that small rarely belong to a man. I observed Jess's feet earlier, large for a woman. 37 is a large woman's size. I crouch close and photograph every detail. Then more footprints emerge, fading as they move further away, because the blood on the soles was gradually wiping off. As Zach sprays the base of the water tower, I call out, Go around the tower. I want to see if we can bring out the shape of the weapon. Zack nods. Before he's even finished, the outline of half a hammer materializes. I step back from the camera with a smile and call Mom. Mom, stop the examination. Is the city bureau definitely holding the press conference? Confirmed. Tomorrow morning at 9, Academy grounds. Mom answers. Good. We're done for tonight. First thing tomorrow morning, I'll personally invite Jess Guo to attend. The night passes quickly. Morning comes, bright and clear. The Academy, the center of everyone's attention these days, is buzzing from first light. Students gather on the field, waiting for the conference to begin. The first thing I do at 7 in the morning is call Jess. She picks up quickly. Jess, the real killer has been found. Today, the City Bureau is holding a press conference here at the Academy. The case will be made public. Your wish to see this resolved. Today is the day. 2 or 3 seconds of silence on the other end. Then, in a heavy voice, Leo, thank you, all of you. It's what needed to be done. I hang up, get dressed, and call Zack and Dale to come down. The field is packed. Looks like the entire academy is here, Zack says. I think I see Principal Sue. He's in the crowd. Dale suddenly points in another direction. Iris immediately runs over. I smile. Let's go say hello. Principal Sullivan Sue isn't sitting in the principal's seat. He's standing among the students. Under his watch, something this serious happened, even if it wasn't his direct fault. But I know that in the position of academy principal, the first responsibility is preventing students from committing crimes. The academy produces exceptional talent, but it can also produce criminals of extraordinary ability. That rule isn't written anywhere, but it's iron law all the same. The 3 of us greet Sullivan Sue. He looks tired, but sharp. You 3 have good eyes. Now watch carefully. Do you think today's press conference is going to become a joke? Sullivan Sue didn't become principal because of seniority. My grandfather was the founding honorary principal. Sullivan Sue only took the role because qualified candidates were scarce at the time. Now the field is full of talent. And Sullivan Sue, though no longer young, remains undeniably the finest in his field. Iris and I watch the city bureau officials take their seats on the platform. No need to wait for the future, I say. Today, everything becomes clear. Sullivan Sue looks at me, surprised. Then genuine excitement fills his eyes. You found it? All of us nod at once, but my eyes are scanning the crowd. When I spot that familiar silhouette, I walk over. Jess, you made it. Want me to find you somewhere to sit? She smiles and shakes her head. I'll stand here with you and wait for the verdict. Okay, though I never imagined a cafeteria worker could do something like this. I sigh. Who could? Maybe this place brings out what's in people. Spend every day surrounded by law enforcement geniuses. Eventually, some of it rubs off. The truly skilled criminal, the thing about them is that even when they're the killer, people find it almost impossible to accept. Jess seems to be sighing to herself. I look at her. Well said. I've always believed the killer is usually hiding in exactly the place no one would think to look. Jess turns and looks at me, as if she wants to say something. But an official on the platform has already stepped up to the microphone. Members of the press, faculty, students, good morning. I am Louis from the City Bureau. Today's press conference covers one matter, the official case summary of the rooftop body concealment and the tree line concealment. After Louis's opening remarks, a reporter immediately calls out, Deputy Director Lee, the 2 cases at this academy have generated enormous attention online. Has the killer been apprehended before today's conference? And if so, will their identity be revealed today? To the school administration, we understand 2 cases have occurred here. Is it true the former principal has resigned? Deputy Director Lee, and to the school's leadership, 3 people have died. The public impact has been severe. What steps will the academy take to prevent this from happening again? The reporters practically fight to get their questions in. On the platform, Deputy Director Lee raises a hand. Please, one at a time. I'll answer everything. Since this case first came to light, Secretary Liu of the City Committee and Bureau Chief Raymond Zhao have both taken this extremely seriously. Chief Zhao in particular has barely slept in 3 days over this case. But the effort has paid off. The real killer was indeed hiding within the academy, just as many suspected. Conclusive evidence of prolonged chloramphenicol poisoning was found in all 3 victims. Ash Yang, Warren Zhu, and Eli Wu. Last semester, cafeteria worker Frank systematically laced the food of all 3 victims over an extended period. After this lead was uncovered, our bureau conducted a careful and thorough operation and successfully apprehended Frank. Deputy Director Lee delivers all of this with polished authority and conviction, but the reporters aren't easily satisfied. Someone asks, if he was already poisoning them, why did he also commit brutal murders just before the break ended? Because all 3 had already graduated. The accumulated toxin in their systems wasn't yet lethal. And before the poisoning began, Frank had been assaulted by the 3 of them over a trivial dispute. He harbored a grudge. He ran out of patience. And so, in the final days before the break, he killed them one by one. The motive checks out. The timeline works. The reason is laid out plainly. The reporters go quiet. Unease ripples through the student body. They all eat at the same cafeteria. Who knows if any of them had unknowingly crossed Frank? A murmur spreads through the crowd. The parents of the 3 victims break down completely, but no one notices me reaching out and taking Jess Guo by the wrist, pulling her forward. Jess's eyes are red. Her face is full of grief. But the moment she feels my hand on her wrist, she startles. Before she can ask what I'm doing, she hears me call out toward the platform. Deputy Director Lee, Frank only poisoned them. Who told you he was the one who actually killed Ash Yang, Warren Zhu, and Eli Wu?